It's just so funny to think about them having these meetings and getting grumpy over players getting paid. We got to fix this.
In the
Everything
middle of
going
like
on.
in the middle of the most like climatic wartime ever. Like there's two major wars that we got our hands in, and they're like, these motherfuckers getting paid too much playing ball, man. You got to fix this shit.
Some of the NIL stuff, they don't even try that hard in the commercials that they film. Can you believe this shit? Welcome back to Macrodosing. It is Thursday. It's October 19th. We're back. We got Big T in the stew. We got Mad Dog McKenzie in the stew. Billy, Arian joining us as well. Big show today. We're going to talk about the lottery. A lot of interesting lottery facts and some people that have scammed the lottery, some people that have done it legally, and some people that have done it quite illegally. And just the history of the whole deal, because the lottery is a very interesting thing. Right off the bat, I got something I want to talk about because I'm curious to hear everyone's perspective on this, actually. The report happened over the summer. It's getting rehashed. I don't know why it's getting rehashed right now. I think one of the NFL aggregator accounts retweeted it or put it out there, which, by the way, I want to do a podcast with all the like anonymous fake blue check mark
Dove
accounts.
Kleiman,
Dove, who
JPA football.
yeah, MLF football,
Haven't seen
NFL
that
Rookie
one.
Watch.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But the watch is spelled like WATXH. I want to get all these guys. I want to talk to all of them and see like if there's a rivalry. Is this like a Woj Shams thing that they got going on? Is it Shams? I think it's Shams. Woj,
I believe so.
Shams thing they got going on. I want to know what all that beef is about because I'm sure certain accounts hate other accounts. But the report came out over the summer, and we're talking about it again. We've actually discussed it a little bit on this show. That Caleb Williams is asking for equity in a team that drafts him. That's what he wants. He wants to go to a team, allegedly. His reps have been talking behind the scenes to teams about maybe getting some equity for the team that he's about to be drafted by. He's a great quarterback, great college quarterback. From all accounts, he feels like the best prospect since Andrew Luck, probably. That's what I've heard. So he's asking for the equity. The league passed a rule this summer saying that you cannot give equity to a current player, which I actually think is bullshit. I don't think that the league should get to decide for every single team whether or not they can do it. But I also think that you'd have to be the world's biggest dumbass to give a player that's never played a single down of NFL football like ownership rights in the team. I don't see any owner doing that independently, regardless of what the rule is.
Does technically that mean since he's not a current player, he could get it before the draft?
Yeah, he should ask.
Even at
he
the
should
draft?
ask for equity in USC, in the University of Southern California. He should be like, I'll come back and play another year if you give me 5% of your endowment. That's what he should do right now.
This has got to be like a PR stunt or something. There's no way in God's green earth that anybody with any kind of financial savviness to them would advise him to ask for equity from an owner, from a billionaire. There's
Maybe
no
Mark
way.
Davis would do it. I don't know.
Ain't no fucking way.
Well,
There's no
equity
chance,
doesn't have
right?
to be that much.
Yeah, that's a good point, Billy. Like you could give him like 1/10%.
Yeah, you could get like a little equity.
Ain't no fucking way, bro.
It would keep them loyal to the club. You know, they wouldn't want to move anywhere because they'd be making, it would just cross their incentives.
So
Did he say how much he's looking for?
I didn't see anything that said how much he's looking for, but I was thinking like the player that would probably be able to have the leverage to do this would be Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, right? If he said, I'll sign a 10-year extension, and if you give me 1% of the Chiefs, let's say that's $5 billion. 1% of $5 billion is, what did we say, $50 million? $50 million in equity with the team. That actually, it sounds sick to say, but $50 million is not that much money compared to the rest of his contract because he's probably going to get like another $300 million. So it's nice. It's definitely more money than he would have before and a bigger investment than he would have before. But it's not, if you're that good, if you're like the best player in the history of the NFL potentially, I don't see an owner giving that much equity to anybody.
But even if you get a little bit, how much did Dan Snyder flip the Commanders for? I
So
mean,
he
that's how much of a
paid
percent return is
I
that?
think he paid 700 or 800 million, and then sold it for 6 billion.
Yeah. So, I mean, even if you get 5-10 mil in equity and it gets flipped for, so what'd you say, 7? So would that be like, if he gets 7 million in equity, would that be 60 million?
Well,
After the sale?
no teams cost 700 million right now. You're not getting 1,000% return.
Yeah, so there's going to be diminishing returns at some point because fewer and fewer people can afford to buy NFL franchises. And I'm not saying that the value is not going to go up, because I think you'd be stupid to think that the value of NFL teams would not increase. But I don't know if we're going to be talking about like a team worth like $40 billion in the next 20 years.
Ain't no way they giving that shit up, bro. This is insane.
Especially not to a rookie.
Anybody.
Yeah.
That's not how the power dynamics in that shit works. Hell no.
Like Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, who else would be the most logical person to ask for equity right now?
Zero.
I mean, nobody would ever get, like, you can ask for it, like, go for it. I mean, Mahomes is the only guy who in his, $500 million contract or whatever could have asked for that, I guess. But like you said, it doesn't even really, it's not doing a ton for him at that point.
Yeah.
And, like, he still wouldn't get it,
Yeah.
I don't think. So, like, Caleb Williams, you can do it. This seems like something he would do. You can ask.
It does seem like it would be all right. So put that aside. The point that I made earlier was that it should not be the NFL's decision to tell all the teams what they are and are not allowed to offer to players, right?
I agree with that.
Do you agree with that? Because I think Florio brought up a good point. Because when he gets into the weeds on contract stuff, that's really when Mike truly shines. It's collusion for them to tell teams what you can and cannot bargain with players about without going to the CBA about it. So it seems like it's just like bold on its face collusion for a problem they probably weren't even going to have to deal with, because if you think that these owners are going to just give away equity in their teams to players that have not played a single down of football, much less if you're like a franchise player, then you're an idiot. Then you have no idea how these guys operate. Irsay might do it. Irsay might do it now that I think about it.
It's just like a bold, like brazenly bold for no reason. Like, it's just stupid. Like, go ahead, man. Do that.
Gets the money up.
You can ask. Well, there's the rookie scale. So it's not like they have that much room to negotiate, because it's in the CBA how much you're going to make if you get drafted first overall, second overall, all down the line. So I guess it doesn't hurt to ask, but to Big T's point, you said it sounds like something Caleb Williams would do.
Yeah.
You think, that's the kind of guy he is?
I find Caleb Williams very unlikable. I'm sure there's some people who love him. That's great. I don't particularly like him very much, but I guess we'll see what he ends up doing in the NFL. Why? Because he paints like "fuck you" on his fingernails and is very brash and just generally unlikable.
He's cocky.
Worse. What are your thoughts on the Shador?
I mean,
flash?
That's fine. It's cool when you're winning.
Caleb was winning.
He painted "fuck you" on his nails.
He every opponent they play, he paints like "fuck Utah" or "fuck Notre Dame" on his fingernails. He's corny. Like I find him unlikable.
Off that, that's a pretty cornball move.
Yeah, I don't know that much about Caleb Williams personally, but I mean, I guess good for him for asking.
Go for it. Ask for whatever you want.
Yeah. There was also a meeting. Well, not a meeting. It was they asked Congress about the NCAA. The Congress is somehow getting involved in legislating college football, which is a pretty bad move because they're all old dorks, so they probably still think all the teams from like the 1970s are still the best teams in college football. But Joe Manchin had the most ridiculous quote where he was like, the sport's not the same to me. I don't like to root for these guys who are making freshmen and sophomore that are making millions of dollars. And first of all, I don't know why Congress is involved in this at all. Second of all,
I saw that quote.
Second of all, my only question is why? Why do you enjoy rooting for the sport less, knowing that players are getting paid for it?
Some of the quotes I saw from those hearings yesterday were just unbelievable.
Tommy Tuberville is probably out there like, we can't pay these guys.
In an odd twist, this is probably the one time Tommy Tuberville is like the most informed member of the Senate on something.
That's true. That's actually probably true. And it's
who said that they don't like rooting for millionaire kids?
Joe Manchin, Democrat, West Virginia.
Oh, he's such a fucking dork, bro.
Joe Manchin also said, quote, if it's all about chasing the dollar, that's not what it was designed to be. If that's it, go from high school to the pros. The NFL has a rule against that.
Yeah.
It was literally went through the Supreme Court. Like, not only that, the owner of the NCAA literally said that the current system it wasn't made for that, but because it is, like, it's gonna cave in on itself. It's like it's too the entertainment value, the TV contract, like all that shit. Like, he was like, this is not what we planned for.
This is what happens when you get a bunch of old dudes that have no clue representing all of us. What they're doing right now, they're having like an old guy meet up at a bar where old dudes are like, I wish that we could go back to the days of amateurism when these players played for the love of the game, when they wanted to go out there and they wanted to represent their university. They're having that conversation, but they're actually like passing laws about it or trying to pass laws about it, which is ridiculous. You can have that opinion. I disagree with the opinion that it's harder to root for players if they're getting paid. You're entitled to that opinion if you want, but just because you have that.
Let's follow that logically then, because
Yes.
there's some undertones there. So, does he have trouble rooting for kids from the suburbs before all of this conversation was had? You know what I mean? Kids that were well off with or without college football, he had trouble rooting for them.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So if Andrew Luck, let's go back to Andrew Luck. He played at Stanford. He came from a relatively wealthy family. By I think most standards, Oliver Luck has made good money over the course of his life. He probably wasn't hurting for money when he was in college. Probably doing all right. Was he harder to root for Joe Manchin? Was he like?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I made this point on PMT yesterday, but I want to reiterate it. Like, if you're going out to eat at a restaurant, does the food taste better if you're like, thank God that the guy that fried these buffalo wings was poor as fuck because his food tastes good, Like, does that why do you enjoy rooting for poor people playing a sport more than you would root for somebody that was getting paid to play a sport?
That's a great point. Like, this classism undertones here.
Also, it's made the product way better.
Yeah.
Like, there's Washington is one of the best school programs in the country right now. Schools like Tennessee are good again after having not been good for a long time. It's created more parity, which people claim they always want. And you're seeing teams like Clemson, who have been at the top forever because they were paying players before it was legal, on the decline because now guys can shop around for whatever situation makes the most sense for them in terms of playing football and financially.
Mm-hmm.
And it's made the product better.
And also these congressional capitalists, you would think that they would stand on their economic principles and let these cats make money in a free market.
Yeah. Hey, Joe Manchin, when I heat my house in the wintertime, it feels so much warmer knowing that the coal miners that you represent don't get paid that much money. Once they start to unionize and once they start getting a livable wage, I don't like that heat anymore. It's not the same heat. I like feeling comfortable knowing that people were exploited to produce this heat. That's what I enjoy.
Manchin likes an underdog story. That's the only way you could rationalize it.
Yeah, it makes zero sense to me why Congress is trying to pass laws so that Joe Manchin feels better about cheering for a college football team.
And meanwhile, I think it was Notre Dame's athletic director was telling them, like, we want to cut through all this bullshit. I think everybody understands that in maximum 10 to 15 years, there's going to be a revenue share with the players. That's just what it's going to be. So a lot of the athletic directors who understand where that's going and what's going on, we'd like to just cut through all this bullshit now and collectively bargain with the players right now. And that's what he was telling Congress. And they're sitting there like, oh, it's just a shame that they're getting paid. Like, we can't deal with this. Like, they are so far.
It's a shame they're getting paid.
I genuinely don't understand why Congress has anything to do with this. But
damn shame them kids can get some food now.
I think they just want to talk sports on the job.
Well, did you see what Ted Cruz said? Ted Cruz he actually had the best moment of the whole thing. He started talking about targeting. And he was like, nobody understands what targeting is. It's bullshit. And I'm sick of when it gets called against my teams. Hard to disagree there.
That's a fair point.
Very fair.
I stand with Ted Cruz.
Is he a Texas
Gold card
fan?
that, please.
Ted Cruz.
PFT stands with Ted Cruz. I need that for me. I just want to put that in my memes.
I guess he'd probably be a Longhorn fan, right?
I'm looking.
I think I've seen him at a Longhorn game before. Now that
I thought he was an Aggie fan.
He would seem like an Aggie fan, but I think he's actually a Longhorn fan.
He went to Princeton.
Yeah, his dad killed JFK.
That's facts.
Just facts.
And his wife is ugly.
Yep. Also a fact.
Congress should start watching D3
I think his
football.
wife is a lovely lady.
I don't know his wife, but I'm just going by what Trump said, and he don't lie.
Yeah. So yeah, that Congress is working on that, it's just so funny to think about them having these meetings and getting grumpy over players getting paid. We got to fix this.
In the middle of the most like climatic wartime ever. Like, there's two major wars that we got our hands in, and they're like, these motherfuckers getting paid too much playing ball, man. You got to fix this shit.
Some of the NIL stuff, they don't even try that hard in the commercials that they film. Can you believe this shit? I saw this one guy, he was doing a used car ad. He couldn't even pronounce Acura correctly. Like, is this what we should be paying our money for? Whatever. Go fuck yourself, Congress. Respectfully.
Okay.
They should watch D3 football. Those guys literally don't even play for scholarships, just for the love of the game.
Yeah, watch D3 football and then try to enjoy it. It's a challenge. You know what I like football when it's worse. That's what I like to watch. Like when it's worse and the players can't afford health care. That's what I get off on.
I like it.
I love it when, you know what I really like? Watching D3 football when the starting running back isn't at the game because he's serving a 3-day jail sentence for not being able to pay his parking tickets. That's football, baby. We got to straighten this shit out.
Knowing that the injury on the field will not be covered in healthcare costs later on. I love that shit.
Yeah, that's right. When a wide receiver, like, you just know he's going to be limping by the time he's 28. Dude, that's good shit. That's football, baby.
There was a game where a kid took an Uber to the ER because he didn't want to pay for an ambulance. That was an actual thing.
That's fucking real. That motherfuckers be taxing.
And he had his arm was literally like hanging, like rubber arm style.
That's you, the Uber driver though. Nigga back there and pay back. You all right, fam? This is kind of. I hope everything okay, bro.
I did that one time from a rugby practice in college where it was like a $500 ambulance ride. And so I just got into my own car and I had a head injury and they had to, my head was wrapped with gauze and I was bleeding profusely and the hospital was only like a half mile away. And I was like, I got this. And so I hopped in my car and I drove there. Probably not the smartest thing ever.
What did you do?
What do you mean?
To get the injury?
Oh, it's just in practice, head to head, sliced my head open, had a mild concussion.
As one does.
Yeah. Got some, I think it was staples. I got staples in my head.
Slice your head open. Did you get hit by a cleat or something?
No, it's head to head. And so you don't wear helmets in rugby. So head to head on a kickoff.
Didn't know that. Thanks, man.
Yeah. And then there was more blood than, you know how a head bleeds. So it probably looked a lot worse than it really was. But I did have just like bloody gauze wrapped around my entire head driving because $500 is a lot of money to a college kid. It's a lot.
Shit.
All right. Good talk. Good talk about Congress. That's what Congress is up to these days. So that wraps up our discussion of geopolitical events. It's all about NCAA football. The only thing I'll say about like the conflict in Israel Palestine is that there's just so much bullshit on the internet that they've succeeded tremendously in muddying the waters, so you have no idea what's real and what's not. Because everybody is just so certain about every video that comes out. They're like, oh, this is what this is. Then you get a million people being like, no, this is actually what this is right here. It's just it's a shame what's happening over there, and I don't feel like I'm informed enough to even comment on anything besides the fact that anytime you're targeting civilians, it's fucked up, and this is what war is. So if you wanted war, this is kind of what you signed up for. But it sucks. That's all I have to say about that.
Just wait before you publish a story. Like I just don't understand. Like, and this is in part to the economic, reality that we live in, is that it's about clicks. It's about getting, but like in times like these, it's not about getting the story out first. It's about getting the shit right, because it can literally lead to deaths. And so there has to be some kind of journalistic integrity that only cover things that we understand fully its context, understand fully, because right now it's as heightened as I've been alive. There's 2 major wars going on, and it could involve other people, and it's just pump the brakes on the stories. Like, just unless you 100% know, have your sources confirmed. But I digress. We're gonna keep on pumping them tweets up. And then that's another thing. What Elon did was so stupid on Twitter, and made everybody have those badges. Like, it's important to know who's who in times like these. Like, if you are a journalist with integrity, it's hard to decipher who is who, and it is just very like the waters are definitely muddy in social media right now.
Yeah. All right. So what else we want to get into before the lottery? What are you teed off about? Anything?
No, I am teed up about something. I've bought the best appliance that exists.
Air fryer?
Way better.
Ooh. Fleshlight.
No. I bought a nugget ice maker.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the top of the line one that I've wanted for a very long time, but they're really expensive, but it was on sale the other day, so I bought it. I ate yesterday 6 32-ounce cups just of ice. No drinks in it, just straight up ice. It makes like 4 pounds at a time, and it's incredible. My teeth like hurt yesterday. I ate dinner and my teeth were like sensitive because I've just been chomping on ice all day. It's the best thing I've ever purchased.
I love that you're just like, yeah, I ate like how many ounces would that be? 192 ounces of ice yesterday.
Yeah, I just kept filling it.
It is the best ice.
Oh, and this is like good shit too. I made sure it wasn't like some people like say they have nugget ice and it's like huge gigantic chunks. This is the perfect tiny little pebbles. It's changed my life.
Nice and soft.
Oh, so soft.
Do you mind if I ask you how much that set you back?
So normally they're like $4.50. I got it for like $2.50.
Oh, nice. That's really good.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, them shits changed the taste. It just feels like, I know it's probably placebo, but it changed the taste of the liquid that you're drinking. It makes it
so much better.
Yeah, it's wild.
And then what I love
Dr.
to
Pepper
do
with them
is
shits, bro. Oh my god.
See, and I don't even like, if you get a full thing of Coke or Dr. Pepper or whatever, then it takes some of the ice down. What I like to do, just fill it up with ice, pour 3-4 ounces of your soda or whatever you have in there, and the ice absorbs the taste. So then you've just got a full cup of that ice that tastes like whatever you want.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
That is a game changer.
Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah. That's a good price too. I might have to invest.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, what you said top of the line. What was it called?
It's the GE Nugget Ice Maker. No free ads, but I think it's called Opal, OPAL.
I've been meaning to do that. I'm about to get me one of those.
I used to sell ice makers, and
really,
yeah. So we had one that we would sell. It was a Scotsman, and the only one that you could get was like a massive massive ice maker, and it was $5,000. And everything else that you had, like countertop ones that you would have for, just personal use, a small ice maker, those you couldn't get the nugget ice because of the way that they make the ice to make it so soft. It's like a much more involved process to make it. You have the water that comes down like really, really slow as it's freezing. So in the last 15 years, this industry's been flipped on its head.
Oh, yeah.
This is incredible. I'm going to get one.
Pretty small, fits right on your counter.
What's nugget ice compared to
Like Sonic
other
ice.
types of ice?
Yeah, it's like Sonic ice. Yeah, there you go. It's also the ice that's best for like when they ice something like in the training room. They put this some small little bead ones.
Oh, nice.
Is that what you got right here,
Oh,
Big
wow.
T? Something like that?
Yeah, so I think they just came out. That's the 2.0. I have the 1.0. I think that's why it was on sale, because they just came out with the new one. You can afford the new one, so you should go ahead and get that one.
I don't want to do that to you. I don't want to.
No. Let me know how it is. Let me know how it is.
The
The one
shit
I have,
all over his. He's like,
Yeah.
I've been waiting for this. So he's like, yep, I'm buying.
I'm perfectly fine with the one I have.
No,
It's
Getting one
amazing.
just for
I'm
my
not gonna
dog's
do that.
water.
Blake doesn't like that 1.0 ice.
You can probably afford the tank on the side too. You can get you that.
I don't want to do that.
2.0 ice, baby.
You saved your pride in your ice machine to discuss on this podcast. You obviously love it very much. I would not get a 2.0 on you and just.
No, you should.
just
Let me know how it
flex.
is.
I don't know, man. 2.0 600. I don't know if I'm.
Oh, Jesus.
That's crazy.
What's better,
How much is the
1.0
1.0?
or 2.0? Probably
I mean,
1.0 is
huh?
literally number one. So fuck on
Oh,
that.
it has Wi-Fi connectivity. That's cool. Does yours have Wi-Fi?
I don't believe so.
Oh, mine's
Not
got
that I've
Wi-Fi.
discovered.
Mine-
What does the Wi-Fi connectivity do?
I'm going to be
Can you
streaming Netflix. I'm going to be. doing all
can you
sorts of-
find? Are you being serious?
It has ice machine with Wi-Fi. Can we just all say that there's too many apps and too much Wi-Fi now?
Yes.
I disagree.
No, everything's got Wi-Fi. Everything.
I mean, imagine like sitting here, like, you know what? I would like a cup of nugget ice and some Dr. Pepper, and it hasn't made it, and I could just be like, all right, I'm getting like 3 minutes, and I'm gonna boop 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 boop, bam, shit starts working right here, and I'm not even in the room. That's amazing.
There's just two. Okay, pair your ice maker with the Smart HQ app to monitor device status and schedule fresh ice.
Look at that.
Receive automatic software updates that include ice maker features and access voice control capabilities through Alexa and Google.
So this is so GE can get in on the Alexa, so they can get access to your microphone on your phone
Yeah.
and hear what you're saying too.
Yeah,
Because they don't have a way to do that right now.
Whatever happened to just walking over to a machine and pressing the on button, and then we're done.
That's what I do. It works fine.
And then we're done here.
Boomer, fucking boomer, at
Dude.
me up.
We need printers that are regular. There's no printers that just fucking print anymore, where you can hook up like with a cord or something. Like all the new age printers suck. Give me an old printer, 10 out of 10.
Yeah, you have to create like a login for your printer.
Yeah,
and
you
you're
have
gonna
to
forget
like
the password.
install stuff.
Yeah, then you have to
That
update
shit-
firmware.
It takes
Just-
like 10 minutes, bro. Y'all sound like some old ass men right
No,
now.
but
Okay,
it's
I
the
just
ink.
bought
I
a
agree.
printer for my daughter. I just bought a printer for my daughter, and
It's
this
the
shit works
ink.
wonders. What are we
It's
talking
I
the
about?
agree,
ink
Arian.
subscription.
I agree that having a device that does that, it's not that bad. But when everything in your life does that, and you have to update your passwords and you have to download new software to fix old bugs, when that's like every appliance that you have and everything that you own, that shit adds up. What is that?
It's
Home
a
controls.
it's a folder in my app that says home control. So everything that I got on my, something about remotes, fans, TVs, appliances, everything's on here. Air conditioning system, lights, all that shit is right on here. It's not as difficult as y'all make it. Y'all just have to be organized. That's what it is.
I'm not.
I bet you your phone is disorganized with apps. That's what it is.
Oh yeah, 100%.
See, that's what
You
it
should
is.
see
See,
my
I got one.
desktop.
I got one page of apps. And it's for everything's for specific things, like all my finance stuff, all my travel stuff, all my photo stuff, all my social media apps, all my messaging, email. Everything's all in like one place. And so,
So
the
now I
home
need an
control
app
app's all
to
in one.
organize my apps.
no, you just got to take a Sunday afternoon. Well, you be working on Sunday like a motherfucker. So take a Tuesday afternoon.
Also work on
Yeah.
Tuesdays.
Well, whenever you get off, fam, take a get off day afternoon and just organize all your apps and put them in folders that are categorically in place, it makes your life thousands of times easier. And it's amazing. I could do everything from my phone. I could run my hot tub, my pool. I could run my TV. I could do everything. Like wow, it's convenient.
Can you
Were
read
you a
off all the
binder
stuff
kid?
you have controlled by apps?
Mm-hmm. Oh, can I?
Yeah. Well, because some of them, like AC, sounds like a good thing to be able to do from your phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I want to see if any of them, like how many I think are good versus
All right,
dumb.
I got my security cameras. I have my Sonos. Sonos is like your speaker system.
Right.
So my speaker system, my security apps. I have my fans in every room in my house. My fans are connected to an app, um, which has a manual option as well. More security things. I got Google Home, lights. Let's see. I have my bed. Let's see. I got the pool stuff. Um,
Your bed,
uh,
do you have like a sleep number or something that like folds
it's
up?
it's a Tempur-Pedic that it goes up and down and it vibrates. It's pretty chill.
That'll play.
Yeah, and so I'm going to download a new one that has the ice maker.
Were you organized in school, like with binders and stuff?
Hell no, hell no. I was you, dusty, like you know what I'm saying. You know, like have 7 folded papers at the bottom. They're all crunched up, and that's what my homework was. I hated school with a passion. But like this, to me, like I'm like really into technology, and so it just makes it can alleviate so much of your stress in your life. If you got a lot going on, technology can help you organize it. And I've never been organized with paper stuff, but with technology, I'm very organized because it's just so easy to manage. It's very easy.
Still too many.
Honestly,
apps.
AI, if you get like an AI assistant and just use it to help, because I'm very disorganized, but
Couldn't
I've been
tell by the
making
room you're sitting in.
checklists. Yeah, you know what? This is true. But if you just ask bard.google.com and just like put in all your tasks and like the best way to strategize doing all of them, they give you a whole printout, and it's like I'm so goddamn efficient nowadays.
Haven't been late in a week.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not hard. Like so, like even I have an app for tasks, a task manager, so I could just be like, "Hey Siri, remind me." So it's like she's listening, so I could be like, "Hey, phone lady, remind me dentist appointment November 18th, whatever." You know what I'm saying? Like all that, and then it puts it in your calendar. It gives you reminders a week before, a day before. Like it's just very, I don't know. It makes sense to me. You
Sounds
sound like
exhausting
you
to
had
me.
sound like you had papers stuffed in your backpack too, PFT.
1,000,000%. I was the least organized person in the world. And there's certain elements of that carry over into my day-to-day life. But I've gotten way better about keeping a clean house and keeping things tidy, things in order, important things where they should go. I've gotten way better at it, but the apps, man, just too many of them. And it's a new app every day. I had to download 3 apps yesterday just to get along with my day-to-day life.
Poor
What
thing.
were they?
I'm telling you, if you organize it like car stuff, travel
Mhm.
stuff, like just organize it. Just take a day and organize it. Cause like I know people who have like 7, 8, 9 pages of apps. I'm like, yo, that's exhausting. Put everything right there. You can compartmentalize everything, and you can have folders within a folder. Like it's very efficient. Like because our phones are like an extension. Have you ever grabbed somebody else's phone and looked at it like, yo, what the fuck do you have going on here?
You feel like you went into somebody else's house.
It's facts. I'll be judging too. Like, what the fuck is the messages right there? It's so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah. Yesterday I downloaded the My Chevrolet app. I downloaded the OnStar app, and I had to re-download TouchTunes, but that's a must.
Oh hell yeah.
That's a must.
I didn't know about TouchTunes until like 3 weeks ago.
What's
Oh,
TouchTunes?
How?
I don't know what
What?
TouchTunes is. I don't know
Okay,
what
exactly.
All
So
right.
I had never been somewhere that had it until I went out to a bar with some people from work recently, and I saw the jukebox. I was like, I'm gonna try to go get cash to do the jukebox, and they're like, "What are you fucking talking about, you moron? It's on your phone." I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh hell yeah!" So you just download this app and it connects to the jukebox in whatever bar you're in, and you can pay on your phone and do the jukebox, and it's awesome.
It's awesome. It's
Mm-hmm.
very cool. I wonder how much money I have right now on my touch. I usually try to keep it above $50 in there at any given time. The best part about TouchTunes is you can drone strike places with songs of your choosing.
See, you're rich enough that you skip right to the front.
Yeah.
Every song.
Well, no,
That's
like
toxic.
no. What I'm saying is like I'm not talking about jumping to the front of the line necessarily. Well, yes, I am, but it's when you're not even at that bar, you can control what they're listening to at any given moment.
But what fun is that for you?
It's sick. It's sick stuff. So, there was one
You're
time
Draguling people?
I don't Dragula. I go with Rammstein. I go with Du Hast by Rammstein. That's my go-to. So one time in New York, I was upset because I couldn't get into one of my favorite wing places, and it was the last day that they were going to be open. And this may be hand up, probably a dickhead move on my part, but I was across the street and I played Du Hast by Rammstein like 5 times in a row, and then I went on Twitter and I searched the name of the bar and then Rammstein and Du Hast, and there were 3 people in that bar that were complaining on Twitter to nobody, being like, just out to the void, being like, why is this bar playing Du Hast by Rammstein over and over and over again? And they just looked at that and I started laughing. It was, asshole move. Hand up, asshole move.
Bro, you can fuck around somebody's business like that, dog.
It was their last day being open as a bar.
Oh, you knew that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, they went out with a shitty bang because of you. You should just we should all commit one day to just rickrolling everybody in a bar. Just rickrolling the whole night.
I forget who it was. Somebody I saw on Twitter did that when I think it was when the Cubs beat the Guardians.
Rich roll.
Rick rolled.
I got it right. Okay, cool.
When the Cubs beat the Guardians, I think, or I guess they were the Indians at the time in the World Series 2016. Somebody went on Twitter and searched for bars in Cleveland and played "Go Cubs Go" on it over and over and over.
So
again.
I thought you had to be in the vicinity.
They changed that. Yeah. So now it's more like you have to be nearby. They have to know that you're close. But some places it might be different. But back then it was the Wild West. You could do it like any bar in America. It rocked. But yeah,
that's sinister.
Too many apps. I did purchase a car yesterday though, so that's why I had to download the apps.
That's reasonable though.
You on Monday, you didn't even know what cars you were looking at, and then you bought one yesterday?
I had a pretty good idea of what I was looking at, but it was like I had 6 or 7 that I was thinking about.
What did you get?
I ended up getting a Chevy Blazer EV, so it's electric. The electric Blazer.
You
checks
fucking
out.
Liberal.
No, it's awesome. It's great. I don't have to.
I bet it is, buddy.
I don't got to pay Sleepy Joe $5 a gallon for gas. Get like 300-mile range plus on it.
What color did you
It's nice. I got red.
It's a nice red.
It's a nice red. Yeah. So
Did your insurance go up?
No, it didn't.
Isn't that
I heard,
the old myth?
let me Google
that
that
if you
before I
buy a
say
red
that.
car, your insurance is more expensive?
It might be a myth because mine didn't go up.
It might just be when you're like young.
Or they might hit me back in a couple of days to be like, hey, we noticed that you added a car to your policy.
Right.
Your new insurance rate moving forward will be this.
It's that you get pulled over more in a red car because you're more noticeable.
That's what I was Googling. I'm checking the validity of that.
Big T's looking how much the car cost right now.
No, I'm looking at the red car thing.
Okay. Yeah, it's a sweet car. I wanted to get a Silverado, but the Silverado didn't fit into my garage. It's like 3 inches too long. So I had to opt for the Blazer EV. It's nice though. So far I like it, but there's so many apps.
I don't have to look up how much it costs because I already have a good idea from the cars you mentioned the other day, what price range you were shopping in. So,
what cars did I mention the other day?
It was some brand I'd never heard of. It was electric
Rivian.
SUVs.
Yeah, the Rivian. No, that's too expensive.
Okay.
That's too expensive. And also you have to wait a long time to get it because they like customize everything. And then also Uncle Chaps told me about this one person that got into a fender bender in a Rivian, which is like $110,000, I think. And the fender bender, it cost $40,000 to repair.
Jesus.
Like a dent to the back end of it cost $40,000 to repair. And I was like, nope, no, thank you. I'm out on that one. But yeah, I'm a car owner now. I'm driving I'm driving places, and it's sweet, and it's electric, and it's quiet. And you know what really sold it for me? It has a heads-up display on it, so I feel like I'm a pilot. So it projects like your miles per hour, and if you put in navigation, it shows it on the windshield. Like, okay, make a right turn in 0.2 miles onto this street. So I feel like I'm a pilot going through my waypoints.
That's
So
pretty sick.
that's really what pushed it over the top for me. But I had a long negotiation yesterday, and if you know me, you know that I absolutely love negotiating stuff. It's like my favorite thing ever because I'm super comfortable when I do it, and the car dealers are not used to people that are comfortable in that situation because nobody's really comfortable when they sit down and you do the back and forth. And so I was just fucking with this guy in like a fun way, and he was like surprised that I was being like so happy and joking about it. But I made him bring me 3 Cokes during the negotiation process. I was like, if I'm going to come up another $100, I'm going to need another Coke. And so he'd have to get up and go bring me a Coke.
That's a power move.
Yeah. So you just fuck with him a little bit. And my trick is I always, you got to anchor low. So it's actually not a bad thing if you put the first offer out there. Because if you put the first offer, you can go way low, and then they have to start negotiating from what you set the level at. So if you let them say the number first, and they say, let's call it even $50,000, and they're like $50,000, and then you're trying to buy the car for like 45, it's really tough to get them down to 45 from there. But if you say I want to pay 40 for it, then you leave yourself way more room to work up. But so let's just say that the car, they were asking $50,000. I was like, I'll do it for 40 right now at the door. And the guy goes to his manager. I always love that when they walk to the manager, talk for like 30 seconds, and then just hang out there for like 5 minutes and come back. So he comes back. He's like, he can't do $40,000. That's just too low of a price. He will do $49,500. And I was like, well, that's not even a real counter offer. So tell him to make me like a serious offer on it. You have to like dismiss. You have to just like wipe away what their initial counter offer is. I was like, well, we're not even negotiating right now. You just said, a number that was close to what you wanted for it. So ask him like what the real price is going to be. And then you just don't entertain their first offer. And then he goes back, talks to his guy, comes back, brings it down a little bit more. And then you give your second offer, and your second offer needs to be really low too. So my second offer was, I can do $41,250. I'm just making these numbers up, but $41,250. And then the guy goes, whoa. He gives me a whoa. And here's a little secret. They know how to do the whoas. That's like one of their big moves, is to act genuinely surprised at the number you say to make you feel bad about what you just said. So you have to call it out. So I was like, that was a really good whoa. I was like, you practiced that. That was really strong. And then the guy like starts to laugh and blush a little bit. And I'm like, this is fun. We're having fun, aren't we? So you have to like take the upper hand by having a better time at the negotiation than they are. And then things swing around a little bit in your favor. But it's fun for me. That's my favorite part of buying a car. And I think most people hate it, but
I'm a big fan of the walk away.
So what percentage? So how were you $10,000 apart when you started?
We were $7,000 apart when we started.
So where did it end up?
It ended up at, so $7,000 apart. I ended up, $2,500 over what my initial price was.
Okay. So you came out on top.
I came out on top of that. And then the guy came back to me. Is like, they got the manager to come back and talk to me about it because I was beating the sales guy up too much, I think. So the manager came back and he talks to me and he's like, here's the thing. I don't even really want to sell this car because it's the only one that we have. And if we don't have it, then people won't be able to come in and test drive it. And I was like, but wait a second. So if you're in your wildest dreams, you would like to not sell me this car so that you can have it for somebody else in the future to see online, come in, test drive it, and then buy it from you. He was like, well, no, it's not just that. It's like you want to test drive it. Maybe you'll get one in the future. Maybe, people will come in and they'll really like this car. And then down the line, that'll sell me 3 or 4 more cars. I was like, why don't you just get more cars for people to test drive? That's a you problem, buddy. That's not
a car dealership.
Yeah, that's not a me problem. That sounds like an inventory issue for you. And then, then at the end, he didn't want to come down anymore. And I was like, there's another one that's like 30 minutes away. And I'm 100% sure that if I just go to that car dealership and I say, this is the best price that you guys could do, can you beat it by $1,000? They would say yes. And I'm going to walk away and it'll be fine. I think I said, we'll leave as friends. I was like, I'm no hard feelings. I'll leave as friends. And then I'm sure that they'll come down another $1,000. And the guy was like, okay, we got a deal. So it's just, you got to have fun with it. And it is fun, but just don't make.
Could you really get that $1,000 difference, or were you bluffing?
I actually think I probably could. Like if you just called them up and said, okay, here's the deal they're offering me. But I want to give you guys a chance to beat it. If you can beat it, I'll drive there right now and I'll buy the car from you. I think they would say yes.
The other dealership or the one you're already at?
The other dealership, I think, would say yes. But you also have to know like what the price is and like what the demand, because you can't just name your price and say, I'll bet you this dealership will match it. But
I mean, why don't you just do that in the first place and just not go to a dealership? Just say, hey, I'm at another dealership right now, and just call a random dealership, said, I'll come over there right now and buy it for this amount, and not have to even go to the first dealership.
That could work. But then there's always the chance that they call the other dealership. But it's not a bad strategy. Yeah, it's just fun. I just love negotiating.
Shout out to you and your new car, man.
I love it. I named it Blaze.
Blake and Blaze.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you just took one letter off.
Yeah, exactly. I thought about naming it Blake the car.
That would have been better, I think.
I already have Blake the guitar, but that's a female Blake.
Got it.
My wedding guitar is
Okay.
female.
Yeah.
You can't name your guitars aren't dudes, right?
I don't know, dude.
I didn't name my guitar.
I think acoustic are women, electric are men.
That seems sexist, but I don't know why.
You
Ships are
saying
female,
the
right?
acoustic are softer? Are you?
Yeah, they have a feminine touch to them.
More delicate.
That's
just
good. We
wild.
need that. We need half the people in the world to have that, and half the guitars.
I think
Wild
I think-
notion.
guitars are women.
Madeline agreed.
Ships are women. Germany's a man, right? The fatherland.
Okay.
I think that's what they call
I
it.
think
And
it's
Russia-
now the
Russia's a
motherland. I think they switched it.
No, because Russia's the motherland. Russia's a chick. Germany's a
Africa's
dude.
No, I
the
think
motherland.
Germany's now a motherland because they got rid of the fatherland.
I thought
Africa's
all
always been
countries were the
motherland.
motherland.
I never really
if
heard
you-
anything.
Yeah, Africa is the motherland.
Once you move somewhere else, just
I
whatever
think-
country you
And
came
I think
from. is the
Africa's like the
motherland.
main motherland because everybody derived from there and migrated outwards. So I think that's where it originated from.
Oh, Germany was the fatherland. That's what
Yeah.
they called it. That's what the Nazis called it.
Vaguely problematic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like the fatherland was abusive, and now it's the motherland.
Nurturing, yes. Till dad comes home.
So dad comes home, beats everybody's ass because he's on dope.
Yeah.
Dad was on meth. Dad was on meth and beat up not only the mother but the mothers of everyone else around.
What's the USA?
Goat.
I think we're not.
Goat. Are goats male?
I think we're an uncle. I think it's the
Believe they have
uncle
female.
land.
Believe they have
Also,
both.
also a drunk,
Uncle
a
Sam,
drunk
it's the uncle
a
land.
drunk abusive
Yeah.
uncle, a drunk abusive uncle that doesn't that presents himself well though. You know what I mean? Like you don't know what he's really doing.
The
He's-
uncle that comes over says he's got like toys.
Yeah, he's kind of the fun uncle sometimes, but then you know that like deep down he's got some issues.
Yeah, he starts drinking and it gets problematic.
Yeah.
He might start fucking your mom.
Whoa. All right.
Where did
I
that
got,
come
I
from?
got that sounded vaguely
Well, when he
personal,
comes
man.
over, like, you know, for bad reasons, starts fucking up your motherland.
The Earth is a female, right? Mother
Yeah.
Earth.
Mother
for
Earth,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mother Earth. The moon is a guy.
Father Time.
Yeah, time's a
Mm.
dude.
Is space female?
Mm.
No, that's time. It's father.
Yeah,
Time and space? So it is
Space time.
Yeah, Arian's
Right
right.
there.
If you,
Okay,
if you
so
remember
spaces,
relativity.
yeah.
What about the Grand Canyon? That's it. Mad Dog says woman. I'm not gonna comment.
Fellas.
Fellas, how many beers?
Uh,
The Washington Monument. What's that one? That's a guy. All right. So what else we got to get into before the lottery? Anything?
do we want to talk about the NFL plant?
Yeah, I'll let you cook on that, Billy. We're going to talk a little bit about the NFL plant, but it's brought to you by Body Armor. I'm actually drinking a Body Armor right now. I did not realize that I was going to be doing an ad read for Body Armor, and I went out before the show and I got an orange mango superior hydration Body Armor. It's delicious and it is the best sports drink in the entire world. Macrodosing is brought to you by Body Armor. It's real hydration, real ingredients, packed with electrolytes, vitamins, and nothing artificial. They got strawberry, banana, blue raspberry, and what I'm drinking right now, orange mango. That's really good. Body Armor has great tasting flavors all across the board. Not to brag, I worked out this morning. Need to replenish my electrolytes. I might do it 2 a day, and I need my Body Armor. Not only does Body Armor hydrate some of the best athletes in the world, like Christian McCaffrey, Joe Burrow, Ronald Acuna Jr., CeeDee Lamb, and Bryce Young, all athletes that are currently playing right now in their respective sports, right, Big T? Oh, sorry, not Acuna. He's no longer in the playoffs.
He is still playing baseball.
Is he?
Well, as his profession.
And he is really good, and he set every record this year, and it's because of Body Armor. Joe Burrow played himself back into shape with a calf injury. He played football to get healthier at playing football. You think he could do that without Body Armor?
Doubt it.
I doubt it. But Body Armor is the best for podcasts, workouts, playing professional sports, watching professional sports, hydration, just all around. It's available in stores nationwide, but you can head on over now to the Body Armor store on Amazon and get yours today. All right, Billy, Sir William of football, talk to me about your theories with the NFL plant.
I just kind of feel bad for her because her whole life's been put on blast. So if you didn't see, it's the Chargers fan that got put on TV Monday Night Football. And basically, I kind of coined the term NFL plant on her, and it just went crazy viral. And I'd like to I was like, what I meant to say is like, this person's like an unreal fan. And like, no way this was a real person. But now like people are finding pictures of her in Vikings gear. And apparently there's someone made up a weird story that her son was on the Vikings, like as a little league team. And that's why she was wearing the Vikings wear. But really she moved from Minnesota to LA. So I don't really care about the fandom, but like everyone thinks that she's like a paid actor from LA. Because LA has tons of out of work actors, and that the Chargers may be hiring them, or the NFL's hiring fake Chargers fans to like show that the newly transplanted team has a home fan base.
Yeah, I think that's
and
what's
it's just been blowing up.
The big red flag was that it was such a diehard Chargers fan, because everyone was
Yeah.
like, wait, those exist?
Yeah, and now she's gone on
man.
McAfee. San Diego Chargers fans definitely exist.
They still there. There's a bunch of Dago Charger fans, man.
But LA Charger fans, people are like, wait a second.
I mean,
But,
where's the LA Charger Stadium?
It's
SoFi.
like the same one. It's SoFi.
Inglewood.
Oh, that's really in LA. Oh, I don't know.
And they don't even, I don't think they own the stadium. They're like the roommates.
Kroenke owns it.
Yeah, the Rams owner owns the stadium, and then the Chargers get to show up 8 times a year and play football there. But, yeah, this lady, she was just so demonstrative. She was just, like, so into the game and reacting so passionately that we were like, it's an indictment on us that our cold, dead hearts can't understand the level of this lady's commitment to her team.
So, Billy, can someone explain to me who believes this woman is, like, fake or whatever? So, she's planted by whom and for what purpose?
Planted by the NFL to show that there's LA Chargers fans.
That doesn't really seem like to prove that there are Chargers fans.
I don't
like
know.
who
I
is-
tweeted it. It went off. I was just sort of like, Who's the other person who was called an industry plant? The interviewer who I'm blanking on her name right now. Who
Bobby
interviewed Drake.
Altoff.
Yeah. Like it was sort of like I was just likening the two, but it's kind of people have ran with it, and now they're like finding pictures of her in Vikings gear and like claiming that she's definitely must be like a paid fan, like that's going to games and just to get on TV and make the NFL have a certain image. But I think it's just been taken way too far. But like the weird part is like people have made stories to like explain why she's a Vikings fan. But like in reality, she just used to live in Minnesota, but saying stuff about like her son's little league team are the Vikings. So she was dressed up as a Vikings fan, but then she's at the LA Vikings game from 2018, the Rams Viking game. It's just gotten blown way out of proportion.
How much would it cost you, Billy, to be a Chargers fan? What's your day rate?
To be a Charger, I mean, if they'd have to buy me a flight to every game. They'd have to expense all my drinks and food at the game and jersey and $100K a year.
100,000?
Yeah.
That's way too much.
No, actually $50K a season.
Okay. See that negotiation
That
right there?
was shockingly fast.
That's how you negotiate right there. Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
so-
50.
50K a season?
He just told you how to negotiate. And you fucked it up, man.
I just dismissed your offer entirely. I wouldn't even entertain it. And you immediately cut it in half.
No, because I realized it's a job I'm not doing year round because there's an off season.
Now you're negotiating against yourself out loud.
I'm being realistic. No one said this was a negotiation.
Zone, baby.
No one said this was a negotiation. I was just saying how much it would actually cost me.
All right, what if they said honestly, Billy,
All right.
$30,000 plus free food and drink?
Are they paying for my flights out there?
Yeah, but you have to fly
Every week?
Spirit. And it's only
No.
8 times a year.
Connection or direct?
Direct. Eight flights a year, Spirit, but they also pay for a carry-on.
No, this isn't worth it at all. Just the traveling standpoint.
30 grand?
Can Spirit planes even make it from New York to LA?
No.
Dude,
they
I'm
can't.
Do they
not-
do flights that
Is
long?
Spirit really that bad, though? I've never.
Actually,
been
I'm
on
forgetting about the New York to LA flight. Is brutal.
They just strap
Actually,
it
I
onto
don't
the
think
back
you
of the
could-
truck and drive it.
Is Spirit really that bad, though? Has anybody been on Spirit?
I haven't. I
I've been on
refuse to
Spirit.
ever go on it, but I believe so. Yeah.
It's not that bad at all. I mean, like I get it. Like it's one of the cheaper, but it gets it done. I took a Spirit plane from LA to Vegas.
Yeah.
Like it's so serviceable. Anyone who really complains about Spirit outside of like the meme funny stuff and is like actually like, I won't fly Spirit. Like, dude, get over yourself. It's a plane ride. Like it's gonna suck no matter what. Just get it done with. Might as well be cheaper. Might as well save money.
Yeah, Spirit is not good. The seats are tiny. Just nothing about the experience is pleasurable at all. But I would put it above. I think Allegiant is the worst one.
So I flew Allegiant one time and it was fine.
Really?
Yeah.
What's the other one? It's Spirit, Allegiant.
Sunrise, it's
Frontier,
like
Frontier?
Sun Country, I think.
Sun Country.
Yeah.
No,
So-
that Virgin. Was it Virgin? Is it Virgin or Frontier?
Virgin's good.
Yeah.
Virgin's
I would say
nice, dude.
Virgin is probably one of the best flights I've ever taken. That shit was fucking fantastic.
It's very funny that the dude named his like luxury brand after someone that's never fucked. We don't really talk about that, but it's just like a lot of companies do like subtle sexual references in things and in logos. But Virgin was just like, no, we're just going to talk about like this is the tightest airline that you can fly.
Has
It's
Richard Branson
so tight.
been to Epstein's Island?
It's a good question.
I mean, someone who like holds,
I'm sure he ran in those circles.
In the J.D. Power 2023 North America Airline Satisfaction Study, Spirit was second to last. Frontier was last. It was Southwest number one. I'm actually very surprised by that. Delta, JetBlue, Alaska, Allegiant, United, American. Allegiant, very much higher than I would have anticipated also.
Maybe it was Frontier then. I took one flight. It was from Chicago back to Austin. This must have been like 2015, 2014. and I got to the airport. I think it was 50 minutes before my flight was departing, and they stopped me at the gate because I think it was Allegiant, but now I'm second guessing myself. Let's just call it Allegiant. And they stopped me at the gate because you have to check in at their gate before you go through security. No matter what, you have to like stop by and say hi. And
That's crazy.
And they told me, sorry, the plane, we already took our group back there. And I was like, what? What they do is they huddle you up like a bunch of cattle at their check-in gate, and then they take you all through security at the same time. And then if it says in very fine print when you buy the ticket, if you're not there 45 minutes before the flight boards, you can't get on the flight because they will have already taken you through security. And I was like, well, first of all, it's 50 minutes before the flight departs, and I'm here. They're like, yeah, we already left. We left like 3 minutes ago. You just missed it. You missed the cattle call. I was like, I had no idea this is how any of this happened. So I got stuck in Chicago for an extra day because of that.
That was not my experience on Allegiant, but could have been. I don't know. That something similar happened to me at a ice cream eating contest on a cruise when I was a kid. Showed up at what time was supposed to start. I was sure as hell I was going to win it, and they'd already done it. And the woman looked at my mom and said, well, he can still go have some ice cream if he wants. I said, no shit. We're on a cruise. You can have ice cream whenever you want. I could do that by myself. I wanted to do the contest. Bullshit.
That is bullshit.
I would have won too.
That was a Mickey Mouse championship for whoever won.
Correct.
Yeah.
Asterisk.
Dude,
Asterisk.
I saw this crazy video of a woman getting arrested on a cruise ship, and she just jumped over the side with handcuffs on.
Well, she's dead.
Is that
They didn't
confirmed
find her.
real?
Yeah, dude. Coast Guard searched for 22 hours. It was the wildest thing I've ever seen. I need to get off the internet.
Send me that.
I've been said that. You need a week hiatus, man.
A vacation?
Sure. Whatever you got to do to stop logging on, man.
No, that is true.
All right. Well, that's airline talk. You guys want to get into the lottery? Some interesting stories, fun facts about the lottery.
I'm interested in Big T's take because it was his idea.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm interested in what he has to say about the lotto, man.
Well, so yeah, I wanted to talk about the lottery more generally, but my interest was specifically piqued because of this new conspiracy theory that's going around about California. Are you familiar with this?
I am not.
So
the California Lotto?
Yeah, so last week, someone in California won a $1.7 billion Powerball jackpot, which was the second largest in the history of the Powerball. Now, of the 4 highest jackpots ever recorded in October of 2023, November of 2022, another one earlier this year and one in 2016, 3 of them have been won outright by one person in California, and the 4th was split between one person in California, one in Florida, and one in Tennessee. So I did a little bit of research. In 2022, Californians spent a total of $8.8 billion on the lottery, which is about 8% of the $108 billion spent in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find numbers just for the Powerball, so you'll have to just assume they're roughly similar for just the Powerball and the proportion.
So I would say Utah, Nevada, Mississippi, and Alabama don't have Powerball. Why not? In those states.
Do they have lotteries generally?
I'm not sure.
Well, so just assume the proportion is roughly
Right.
the same.
Those aren't like the most popular
That
states.
California is buying about
populous.
8% of the Powerball tickets, as they do spend 8% of the money on lotteries total. The odds of someone in California winning all 4 of those would be about 1 in 25,000, which is less than your chances of being struck by lightning. It's about 1 in 15. So I'm just connecting some dots. The state with the highest state income tax in the country is winning every single one of the largest Powerball jackpots. Just seems a little curious to me.
That is interesting. I'm trying to find a reason why that might be.
A reason other than it's rigged to give the government the most amount of its money back?
So you're saying, all right, state the premise of what you're saying right now.
I think that the California state government is somehow in cahoots with the Powerball to make sure that whoever wins the largest jackpots are in California, so they receive a huge windfall in taxes that they don't have to do anything for.
Okay.
As a conspiracy guy, I just want to point one thing out. California does have the highest population out of any state in the United States.
Did you not listen to anything I just said? Not a single word, huh?
I actually had to go grab a package.
Okay. Well, you can go back and listen to the show. They buy 8% of the tickets. So if you have an 8% chance every time times 4, that's 0.004%.
I'm looking.
Where does New York factor in that?
New York actually spends the most on the lottery at $10.3 billion a year.
But is that including taxes?
No, that's lottery sales in the United States in 2022.
Which state has the highest percentage?
Billy, what? New York.
I wonder what the explanation would be, because if that math is right, and I haven't looked at all your stats or where they came from, but that does seem a little bit off.
Sure does.
It's very, very interesting.
But then that got me. I just thought the lottery in general would be an interesting, thing to talk about on the show. But that was the impetus of my interest.
So that's just the Powerball, correct? Or is that all?
So that's all lotteries. I couldn't find the sales numbers for the Powerball specifically. So you just have to assume that the numbers are similar.
Did you say total winners? Like total amount of winners?
What do you mean?
Like the amount of Powerball winners there has been, like in its history.
No.
All right.
I think Powerball claims, because I was on the Powerball website. I think it said but they don't count. They're counting every. If you win, I think $80 in the Powerball, they count that as a win.
The fact that you can just win $1.2 billion is still crazy to me. Like, here you go. Here's $1.2 billion.
Well, so you win 1.7, and then the cash sum of that is 900 million.
Yeah.
And then 500 of that is in taxes. So you get 400.
Do you think you could spend $900 million? Do you think you could go broke?
Brewster's Millions.
It would be difficult.
There was a movie about this. Yeah, most lottery winners end up broke. Yeah.
Right, but it's people who win like 300 grand, not 900 million.
Or like even a million, like 5 to 10 million. Those people a lot of times.
I mean, that's easy to spend for sure.
But if you get 900 million,
I could easily spend that.
What would you do?
I think the first thing I would do would be to cost analysis to see how much it would be to revamp a lot of the schools. And I would start in the city. I would pick a city, as like kind of like not a project, but like a template to see how much it would cost to revamp like all the inner city schools. So it might just go to all of that, honestly.
Yeah, giving it away.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend it on me. I have everything I could possibly want. I'm straight. But like, I would absolutely, it would be purely philanthropic. Like
there was a lady in I think Seattle that did that. She won the lottery and she actually went into debt within maybe 10 years. I want to say she won like 30 million. She went into debt because she just gave all her money away. She gave away more than she actually had. But I'm talking about if you had like spending it on things, not
would run out
being a philanthropist.
Wait, you would run out of shit to spend it on.
Big T, did you calculate that California is one of the 14 states in the country that does not tax lottery winnings? Although the winner is still required to pay state and local income taxes?
Say that again?
Powerball tickets sold. So like California Powerball winners don't have to, they don't have a tax on lottery winnings. So specifically in the state, they don't have a tax on lottery winnings, but they still have to pay income and local taxes.
So it'd be like, what, 51% or something like that?
Yeah. So they don't have to pay state income tax on lottery winnings, but they have to pay federal. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
I don't believe that's correct.
Huh.
Powerball ticket.
A crazy
know, but
thing
this-
about
Are you saying they don't have a specific tax on the lottery?
Yes.
But
They don't
you
have a
have to
specific
pay-
tax on the lottery.
But when you receive that as income, you have to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. So
That's
regular
the same
state
thing.
and local tax. I repeat this though. This is crazy. So all Powerball winners. This is top 5. So you got this is a market. You said New York as the most. So Powerball winners, it's ranked New York number 1, Cali 2, Indiana 3, New Jersey 4, Missouri 5. New York. So this is Powerball, Mega Millions, and then the total. So total Powerball winners from New York is 12. Total Mega Millions from New York is 41. So total is 53. Total Powerball winners from California is 11. Total Mega Millions is 35. Total 46. Indiana, this is wild. Indiana Powerball winners has 39 Powerball winners, though. Mega Millions 2, total 41. New Jersey Powerball winners 11. Mega Millions 24, total 35. Powerball from Missouri is 31. Mega Millions winners is 2 and 33. So for Powerball, it seems like Indiana and Missouri got the highest amount of winners.
You got to drive to Indiana if you want to buy a gun to bring to Illinois or a Powerball ticket.
Yeah, when I was looking on the Powerball website, it said Indiana was like number 1 in terms of total winners. I don't know how much you have to win for them to count it.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
You know,
And
do you
it's
think
got-
it has something to do with places you can buy lotto? Because like I feel like those places all have tons of like gas stations.
Yeah, maybe. But again, that would go back to like, was Indiana on your list of just top 5 sold? I forget.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yes. I'm sorry, it was number 3.
Oh,
No,
it's number 3,
I'm
okay.
sorry, no, I'm not. This is just winners. I'm sorry, I don't have the data for sold. I think Big T has that maybe.
I would imagine that
Uh,
Indiana would not be in the top 3 when it came to tickets sold.
I don't have
I
just
agree,
Powerball,
yeah.
but in terms of all lottery, these don't have numbers next to them. They're about halfway.
Yeah, that would seem right. So yeah, if you got to buy a Powerball ticket, go to Indiana for that shit or Missouri. It's funny that Missouri is like number 5 overall.
Missouri's 17th and Indiana's 18th in terms of just amount of money spent on the lottery.
Did you know
California had
that-
the biggest jackpot of all time, $2.04 billion. What
Yep.
the fuck?
And then another 1.7 and then another like billion.
Yeah, I would like to see the cumulative numbers that has been. That would be an interesting number to see.
in 2019, Powerball, they switched up their format. I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but they used to have 59 numbers that you could choose from, and they moved that up to 69. And that moved the odds, your chance of winning, from about 1 in 175 million to 1 in 292 million. They also doubled the price of it. So it used to be $1 to play. Now it's $2 to play. And so they made it way harder to win, and they made it more expensive to play, and they sell more tickets now than they did before. Which is it's just like it's mass delusion in a way where you know that you're not going to win, and the fact that they made it harder to win makes you want to play more, which doesn't make a lot of sense from a logical point of view. But there's a thing called lottery fatigue or jackpot fatigue, which is if there was a drawing every day to see who won $10 million. That's a lot of money, right? $10 million, ton of money. If you did that every single day, people would start to get bored with $10 million, and then you have to increase it. And if you have to increase the price to play, more people will play, even though it's twice as expensive. If now you stand to win $20 million, then you just have to keep like bumping it up and up and up. Yeah, Billy?
I was thinking in that same way, we should rebrand taxes to being a lotto. Now hear me out.
Okay.
In that same vein, if you have to pay, so like if you look at the histories of lottos, a lot of it's to do public works. So what if you just made taxes and just say, no, it's a lotto for public government stuff. And then you're just like, every time you're paying your taxes, you're just getting into the lotto. And then when they give you your tax return, they're just like, this is your lotto earnings.
You get a chance to win.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or they actually do like a cash prize for one person who pays taxes.
I don't hate that idea. That would probably that might be effective because the lottery is a tax. But we just don't think of it as being a tax. It's just it's a voluntary tax that people pay. There was one stat that I saw that 25 states make more money off people playing the lottery than they do off corporate income tax. That's pretty fucking wild, isn't it?
They're
making more money from the poorest people than they do off of corporate income tax. Insane to think about. But to Billy's point, and a couple other people have mentioned it, like the history of the lottery is it used to be used strictly to just fund massive projects. So one of the earliest lotteries, I think it was the Han Dynasty in China, their lottery funded the Great Wall. That's how they built it. And Roman Emperor Augustus, he had a lottery as well in ancient Rome where they would just give away shit that he had laying around the palace. So if that's how they built roads, which like Augustus was like, I got a great gold horse here for your chance to win this gold horse, or maybe just a spoon that I ate. There were different prizes depending on what level you won at. I'll give you something for my palace. And then all that money went towards like constructing their highway system that they had there.
My favorite historical lotto was Ben Frank. Ben Frank did a unsuccessful lottery to raise funds for cannons to defend Philadelphia against the British. So
I didn't know that. So what did he do? What was unsuccessful about it?
I think the unsuccessful part was defending Philadelphia, or it just got shot down.
Nobody won.
No one won. They kept all the money.
The Revolutionary War was in large part funded by a lottery too. The Continental Congress enacted a lottery to try to raise money to buy cannons and muskets and ammunition and all that shit to fight the British. So we might not be here without a lottery. We've talked about sortition on the show before in ancient Athens. The way that they would choose their representatives would be through a public lottery, like how we do jury duty right now. So anybody could be elected or not elected. Anybody could be named to be a senator for like a 3 or 4 year span. Anybody in like not public life, but anybody that exists could potentially be your next senator depending on what was drawn. So that's a form of lottery. But also once they started doing that, people started putting side bets on who they think would be nominated. So if I was like, I think Big T is going to be a senator for the next 4 years, they had a group that got together and you could put money in a pot. And then if you won all that shit. And that was like their favorite way of gambling.
Would you rather do that or stick it out with the Congress we have now?
Sortition's looking better and better. I'll tell you what.
I mean,
if you took a random sample of like 100 people from, let's just say the state of where's Tommy Tuberville from Alabama, 100 people from Alabama, and you picked one person. Do you think that person would be more or less qualified than Tommy Tuberville to be a senator?
Alabama specifically, less.
You think so?
And a different state, probably more.
Yeah. I think, well, Alabama's the one where they do have the one senator that probably knows more about college football than the general public does since he coached it for forever. But sortition's not a bad idea. And it's because if anybody is liable to be a senator or a representative, then you know that you got to make sure that everybody is educated because you don't want some real piece of shit serving. They also had lotteries that were enacted to fund colleges like Princeton, Harvard, Yale, Columbia, and the University of Pennsylvania. They were all originally funded by lotteries. In 1758, Massachusetts did a lottery to raise money to invade Canada.
Hell yeah.
That one didn't really work out, I don't think. And then after the Civil War, as the Puritan movement started to take over the United States, they started to ban lotteries. They're like, we don't want people drinking. We don't want people carousing. We don't want people playing lotteries. So they one by one banned all the lotteries. Now, if you were to take one guess as to which state was the last holdout to ban lotteries, what would it be?
Utah.
No, they would be the first to ban the lottery.
Oh, to ban it.
Yeah. So which state would be the last to ban lottery?
Nevada.
New
Florida.
Hampshire.
No. Louisiana.
Jersey.
Oh yeah.
Louisiana held out for like a good 30 years, and then finally they gave in. But then they brought it back, and it started gaining a lot of popularity in the 60s. But yeah, if you look back at the history of the world, like a lot of this shit was funded on the lottery, which is, it's a different way of raising taxes, you could say.
You know who one of the first guys to scam the lottery was?
Who's that?
Voltaire.
Really?
Did you read about that?
I didn't.
So there was a lottery in France where the government had bonds, and it tied the lottery to all these bonds that it had, and there was only bondholders could buy tickets in this lottery, and the price was pegged to the value of the bond. Winners would get the face value of the bond in addition to a 500,000. I don't want to have a Billy moment. I don't know how to pronounce the French currency at the time. Livre. Livre. In addition to a $500,000 livre jackpot, a huge sum of money. But Voltaire figured out that like their math was way off, and that was worth more than the value of all the tickets in circulation. So he and like this mathematician that he was working with just bought all of them, and they won it.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
Smart guy. There's been a couple instances of that in modern history, actually. So there's this dude, he's from Michigan. His name is Jerry Selby, and I think he was like 65 at the time. He lived in Ebbett, Michigan with his wife, and he ran a convenience store there. And they sold it when he was 62. They sold their convenience store, but before they closed the doors on it, they were like getting rid of all their inventory. This is in 2003. Michigan developed a new lottery game called Windfall. And Jerry had a bachelor's degree in math, which probably a pretty good mathematician to have a bachelor's, but it's not like he was an internationally known genius. He wasn't like a professor. He wasn't, he didn't use math in his day-to-day life. He just had an interest in numbers, and he was good at them. And he saw that this new game could be exploited. So the rules of this game, it was a pick six, and it's very difficult to win a pick six. So it's numbers between 1 and 49. And if you guessed all six, they would win the full prize. But if nobody won the pick six, what they would do, they would announce a roll down. So they would say, okay, we're doing another round of this same drawing, but since nobody out there won the full six, we're going to reduce it to 5. So if anybody gets 5 numbers correct, then you win the jackpot. And then if you get 4 numbers, you get a cut. If you get 3 numbers, you get a cut. So Jerry was like, wait a second, if they reduced it down to 5 instead of to 6, I can exploit that. So his math was that if you played 1,100 numbers, you would have at least one 4-number winner. And you would have 18 or 19 3-number winners. So therefore, if you invest $11,000, you should win about $19,000 every single time if they do the roll down to a pick 5 instead of pick 6. So Jerry, without telling his wife, he bought $3,600 worth of lottery tickets, and it worked. And I think he won about $6 or $7 grand off it. Then he bought $8,000 the next time they announced a roll down, and he doubled that again. And then Jerry, at that point, told his wife, hey, I broke the lottery. I know how to win the lottery every single time they do this. She was like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. So he started his own investment group in Ebbett, Michigan, which I think has like 1,000 people that live there. So he went out to his friends, farmers. He was like, hey, I legitimately figured out how to beat the lottery. If you want to invest, I can make you money. Just trust me on this. So then he got $500,000 in his GS investment strategies group that he created, and he won $800,000 off of it. So nice, neat little profit. Eventually it got up to 25 members in his club, and everybody won. Everybody made a lot of money. And then Michigan started to figure out that there was something weird going on, so they shut down that game entirely. So fast forward like 3-4 years later, he gets an email from his buddy that used to be in his investment club, and it's like, hey, just so you know, Massachusetts State Lottery just announced a game that was very similar to the Windfall game. Do you think we could do this there? Jerry went to the website, looked up the rules, and in 5 minutes he calculated, yep, this is the same game. We can do this here. So him and his wife, I think they were like 70 years old at the time. Every time they announced a roll down in Massachusetts, they would drive 900 miles to Massachusetts, the two of them. They'd stay in a Red Roof Inn, and then they'd go to convenience stores buying up all the lottery tickets that they could. And they started to win a shitload of money there. And they held on to all their losing tickets too, just in case anybody ever audited them and asked like, hey, how did you do this? Because everything they were doing it's completely legal. It's not illegal to do what they were doing, but he wanted to have a paper trail being like, here are all my losing tickets. And so in Massachusetts, they started to win a shitload of money again. I think they won like $3.5 million in the first year, but over the course of 9 years, he made $26 million, 26 million. And then he kept 8 million of it for himself. And then his investment group took the rest. They split it up. But here's my big problem with this story. Once they started to win money in Massachusetts, the Boston Globe got a tip that some people were buying enormous amounts of tickets from certain convenience stores. And it was the Spotlight Group, the same group that did the investigation to the Catholic Church.
Okay.
They start sniffing around this, and they realize that there's somebody that's able to exploit the rules of the lottery. They publish a giant article on it, and the state of Massachusetts is like, okay, we're shutting it down. Like, they just narked on him. This guy had a good thing going, and the Boston Globe had to make it too hot, got it closed down. And there was another group that was doing the same thing that Jerry was doing. So Jerry was the only guy that figured out how to beat the lottery in this way. The other group that had it figured out in Massachusetts was a group of mathematical grad students at MIT. And so MIT had their own group. They made a few $1 million too. But then the Boston Globe narked them out, and they had a state investigation. The Solicitor General of Massachusetts interviewed like 20, 30 people. He was trying to put together like an organized crime case because he didn't believe that it was just some dude figured out a simple mathematical way to win the lottery. And so he did all these interviews, was trying to pin something on this guy. And then he just said, you know what? Like, this guy just outsmarted everybody, and he figured it out, and there's no crime that's been committed. But they ended up having just tons and tons. I think they had to buy a new barn in their backyard to keep all the losing tickets, because I think they ended up with like 18 million losing tickets that they held on to.
What would be the point of him trying to keep a paper trail? Like, what is he trying to avoid?
I guess if you prove that you had all these entries that did not win, it's easier to make the case that you weren't rigging the lottery for yourself. Because if you only bought 5 tickets and you won repeatedly over and over and over again, then that's just mathematically impossible. But if you have the right ratio of losing tickets to winning tickets compared to how many tickets were sold, then I think somebody would look at that and say, okay, yeah, they just bought enough tickets and they figured out how to win. But shout out Jerry Selby.
Yes.
Smart dude. I have no problem with what Jerry Selby did. If the man gives you an inch, you take it. Don't apologize for figuring it out.
As you were describing that, I was like, this sounds like a movie that I've seen a trailer for recently. They made a movie about him last year.
Did they?
Yeah.
About Jerry?
Jerry and Marge Go Large.
Yeah. Okay.
It has decent reviews. I think I'm going to watch it.
It's a great story, isn't it?
Yeah.
I just wish the Boston Globe, if you're a reporter at the Boston Globe, there had to be somebody in that room that was like, can we just let them do this?
It's kind of their job, though.
It's not hurting anybody, though.
You know,
But it was a big enough story that we're still sitting here talking about it.
That's true. I just feel bad for him.
For Jerry?
Well, yeah, I guess he made his money, but still, just let the guy get a scam off.
Man made millions. You feel bad for him, bro. And it's not even a scam. It's just
right.
You give somebody options. He's exercising the options.
I was doing some research on the main buyers of lotto tickets, and it's kind of a fucked up way the government has basically done an income tax on people who don't actually qualify to be taxed on their income.
Yeah.
So if you look, it's like, that's the really fucked up part about it. That basically it's a poor tax.
Yeah. Because
So,
you're selling a dream.
yeah.
And they put them lottery tickets just to tease us. Kanye West. You
Mhm.
remember that? You remember that song? He said that.
Yeah. Bingo though. Bingo's fun.
And bingo is fun.
Like
With the
I
marker.
was looking at private lotteries and how in the South there used to be like private lotteries and dudes would rake in tons of money just being like, oh, this is a lottery. And then they'd give out like a quarter of all the money they got and someone would be pumped about it, but it wouldn't be the total amount of money they collected. And it's like the biggest scam ever. It's like taking like, but bingos are legal for like government entities. I'm not sure about them. Like I went to a volunteer firefighter bingo night at a volunteer fire station, and that is the most electric gambling I've seen in a long time. Like non-sports wise or in a casino. It's probably like some of these older women were going nuts on the bingo tables with their daughters, and like they dot the numbers, and I was playing. It's electric. Definitely recommend going down to whatever local community organized bingo there is because it is some insane gambling.
There's also the numbers game, which is kind of like a private lottery that would exist in certain neighborhoods. Usually, like I think it's mostly like Italian, black neighborhoods, and Jewish neighborhoods way back in like the 1800s, 1900s, which would be I know that what they used to do sometimes, you would have like three numbers, a 3-number combination. So you could pick any 3 numbers and you try to hit that. And then whoever ran the local racetrack would have the exact handle, like how much money and bets they took in over a certain day. And the last 3 digits of that would be the random number that would be selected for the next day's number drawing. And so then if those were your 3 numbers, then you would win the jackpot based out of that. But yeah, the numbers game was huge. Like any mafia movie, they talk about like running the numbers game. That's just essentially a lottery that was run by a private group of people. There was also a dude named Stefan Mandel that hacked the lottery. He was a Romanian accountant, and he figured out a way in a lottery with 6 numbers. He could predict 5 of the 6, kind of similar to what Jerry did in a way. And so then he made some money in Europe, and then he moved to Australia. And then once he moved to Australia, you can bet on the UK lottery because it's the Commonwealth and there's like, I don't know, reciprocity or whatever. And so then he started to dominate the British lottery, and he got a big conglomerate of people together that would invest with him. And as long as he could find a lottery where the jackpot was 3 times as much as the number of ticket combinations, he could make money off it. So he dominated that. And in the 80s, he won 12 lotteries because of his computer method. And then the Australian government caught on to him. They changed the law saying that you can't print your tickets at home. You have to buy them in the store. And in 1992, he came to the United States, specifically to Virginia, because the Virginia lottery had a $27 million jackpot. And he got 2,500 investors to pay $3,000 each. And he would send people money in Virginia to go out to these stores. So he had couriers going all across Virginia to buy as many lottery tickets as possible. And they tried to buy 7.1 million tickets. They spent enough money to buy 7 million tickets. But one of the stores that they went to, actually a couple of the stores, were overwhelmed by the amount of tickets they were selling. So they couldn't process all the transactions. So they spent $7 million. They only got 5 million tickets processed. And so going into the drawing, there was like a 60% chance that he was going to win, but a 40% chance that he wasn't. And he raised all this money. And so it was up to the luck of the draw. And he ended up winning. He got first prize and second prize and third prize. So he won $30 million. And then the lottery rules got changed again. He broke the lottery.
That's electric.
Yeah.
Like, when most people buy a lottery ticket, you understand you are not going to win, but you think for 5 seconds, like, man, if I won, that'd be incredible. If you have a 60% chance to win the lottery, but a 40% chance that you're going to lose,
yeah,
that's a feeling. That's gambling.
That's like the perfect ratio, isn't
yes.
it? It's like you probably...
Because at 80, you're like, oh, should happen.
And you would get so mad if you had 80 and it didn't hit.
Oh yeah.
But if you had 60 and the 40% hit, you'd just be like, I'm such a fucking idiot.
60 is basically just 50-50.
Yeah.
Once you start thinking about it.
It
like
is.
That.
It is. There's also a guy that scammed the lottery. This was just a couple years ago, actually. This was a true scam. The other guys, they figured out the math and they won. They beat the lottery. There was a guy in Iowa, and he bought a ticket, and it hit for $16 million, right? And the rules are you have a year to claim it. And in Iowa, I think different states have different rules, but in Iowa, if you hit the jackpot, you can't be anonymous when you claim it. You have to say who you are, and your name will be published. That's part of the deal that goes along with it. So this ticket went unclaimed for a year. 6 months after the drawing, there was a lawyer up in Canada that hit them up and was like, hey, I have the ticket. I'm a lawyer in Canada, and I would like to claim it. And they're like, okay, this sounds kind of weird. What were you wearing when you bought the ticket? Because the guy in Canada wouldn't come to Iowa to like turn the physical ticket in. So they asked the guy, okay, what's the serial number? And then what's the number combination that you have? The serial number on the ticket is not publicly available information. You only have that if you have the ticket in your hand. And so he gave them the serial number, which was right, and gave them the right combination, obviously. And they're like, okay, so why won't you come to Iowa to claim? He's like, I don't really want to come down there. So they reviewed the convenience store footage, and they're like, what were you wearing when you bought it? And he just made something up that wasn't right. And then he was like, I'd like you to wire the amount to this corporation that I run. But the corporation was spelled incorrectly. So like, there's something fucked up going on here. Fast forward another 6 months. It's been a year to the day since the lottery winner was chosen. He's got 2 hours left, right? This guy's 2 hours left. And a different lawyer from New York shows up with 2 hours left. And is like, here's the ticket. I have it in my hands right now. I'd like to claim it. And they're like, okay, well, who do you want us to make it out to? And he gave them wiring information for that weird Canadian lawyer that had just hit them up like 6 months ago. And they're like, okay, this is fucked up. And by the way, the information that we're sending the money to, that's a shell corporation in Belize. So what's happening here? And they had no explanation for it. So they were trying to figure out who this guy was that bought the lottery ticket, because it wasn't either of these two guys. And they had the convenience store footage of the guy wearing like a real low profile baseball cap and like a big coat, so you couldn't really see who it was. I think he had sunglasses on. And they released the video, and they're like, we need your help finding this person, and we also have him on tape asking for the ticket. If you recognize his voice, please let us know. They got a bunch of tips, and I think they got like 10 or 20 about the same guy. And it was a guy named Eddie Tipton. And Eddie Tipton, you know what his job was? He was the software security manager of the lottery. That's what his job was. And what he did was he wrote code into the lottery so that on May 22nd, November 23rd, and December 29th, he would select which numbers would win on those 3 days. So he slipped in lines of code, hoping nobody would notice, and he won the lottery twice. So he won one for $16 million, and so they caught him for that. And then they started to investigate, wait a second, like, what about these other lottery winners? Because it just so happens we found out that Eddie's brother won the lottery 10 years ago in Colorado. And then they found like 2 other people on those 3 dates that had won the lottery. And it's because old Eddie Tipton just like slipped in a little bit of code and rigged it for himself. So he went to jail. he got busted for that big time.
Damn, why would you do it? He's a dummy. He should just, once your brother won, you just should have hit once, and then you disperse it from there, and then never do it
Make
again.
Make it big enough the one time you do it that you take care of everyone that was in on this.
And it shouldn't even be your brother. It should be like a very, like somebody.
Friend of a friend.
Yeah, friend of a friend that's trustworthy. That's just dumb.
Yeah. The farther you get away from your personnel, the way less you can trust them.
Sure, but you don't do it you yourself, fam.
Agreed.
sentenced up to 25 years in prison.
That
That's a
that
lot.
seems like a long time.
That's a lot.
I feel like people who can do specific crimes get more time just because people are mad that like they had certain skills and they used it for bad. You know what I'm saying? Like a coder who's smart enough to do all this, or like Sam Bankman-Fried. Actually, I don't think he was actually cool, but like guys who can do specific things and have a specific set of skills that other people can't usually tend to get crazier jail sentences.
There's dudes who these like, these wealth management firms and on Wall Street that have gotten less time than that have actually, siphoned people's fucking 401ks and savings accounts, and like people have done way worse than that. I got way less than that, and he just scammed the lottery. I don't know about that one though.
it looks like he
Yeah, that
got
is facts, actually,
parole,
now that I think about it.
but then got into a fight or something, and they took it away.
So he's back in prison.
I'm seeing conflicting reports, but it seemed like he at least was gonna get parole after 5 years, I think.
Can we reach out to Eddie Tipton? Eddie Tipton, lottery winner. See if he has media information on there. I'd like to talk to old Ed. When he was about to be sentenced, they asked him if he regretted it, and he made a public statement, and he was like, "I deeply regret my actions. I'm so sorry. I let people down around me." He doesn't regret that shit at all. He did it twice. Like he
regrets he got caught.
He regrets getting caught. When I honestly don't I don't blame him that much. I mean, he took a shot, but he did. I guess it is scamming people out of money. It is scamming a lot of poor people out of their money because they don't have a chance to win. So in all the other circumstances,
yeah, but it's like you're scamming them out of $3. You know what I mean? It's not collectively. I get you do have a point. I do concede that, but it's not like you taking somebody's life savings and robbing them.
Yeah, let me ask you this, Big T. If you had a button on your desk right now that you could press, and you would get $20 million, but everybody in the state of Illinois would be $3 richer, would you press it?
You mean $3 poorer?
Oh yeah, $3 poorer.
Oh, that's a hell of a fucking deal.
I was like, yeah, I'll do that.
Well, I don't think Joe Manchin would. But all right, let me rephrase. You have a button on your desk, you can press it, you get $20 million instantly in your bank account, but everybody else in the state of Illinois loses $3 across the board. 20 million.
Jesus, what would Jesus do?
No, I wouldn't do it.
You're a liar.
There you go.
See, I could. Well, yeah, 20 million would be great. If I ever got really tight, like you and Arian could give me 3 or 4, and then we'd be okay. So.
If you found yourself in a $3 million hole.
Yeah.
Y'all
could take care of that.
There's those Wall Street dudes that used to do this, but they used to do like 0.5% of a penny or something like that. Like a points of a penny. Mm-hmm. Like they used to like hustle penny stocks, but like those transactions, hundreds of thousands of those over time, like just you can get mad money from that. So like it's like in their minds like a victimless crime.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people would press that button.
I wouldn't. That's crazy.
Illinois made it more of a decision than like a state I like. Tennessee, no chance I'd do it.
Good.
California.
California, I would push it.
Now, if you said a billionaire, all the billionaires, they missing $10,000 and you got a button to give me 20 million. Hell yeah, I'm pressing that shit so motherfucking fast. Fuck them.
Mm-hmm. Billy, would you press the button if it meant everybody in New York would lose $3?
No, if it was like California in 1 cent, maybe I can. Yeah,
nah, I can't do it. I can't do it to regular
a cent.
People. I have been through too many real life situations. Like I went to the not the woe was me, but I went to the grocery store with my mom's when I was growing up one time. We had $14 to feed the whole family. Nigga, that $3 that makes a difference. You know what I'm saying? So like I couldn't, because there are people out there facing those kind of situations every day. But that billionaire though, fuck him. Give me that.
I feel like most people, if they had the button, though, would press it.
1,000% they would. Yeah,
people are assholes. Yeah, it would just overcome them.
I'm an asshole. I'm an ethical asshole.
I've got some other just lottery stories about people that won the lottery and weird shit that happened to them.
Fascinating ass stories, bro.
There was a Waffle House, right? And there was a guy that would go in there every single day, and he would tip the waitresses with lottery tickets. And he said, if one of them hits, though, you have to split it amongst all 10 of you. And you have to promise to do that, and also you have to buy me a car. And so every day he'd go in there, give them lottery tickets. Eventually, one of the tickets hit for $10 million.
That's crazy.
Right? And so the waitress's name was Tonda, and she decided that she was going to keep the $10 million for herself because it was her ticket that she had. And all the waitresses sued her, as they should, because it's $10 million that she just stole from them.
Is it though? Do they have a case?
Well, interesting you would ask that, Arian, because the case went to the Supreme Court.
I'm actually fascinated by, I don't know of this case, but I'm fascinated by the ruling.
The Supreme Court ruled in favor of Tonda.
Yeah.
It was her ticket.
I guess if you
there
don't
was
have
no
a
contractual
written,
agreement. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
then the guy that said, you owe me a truck, he took her to the Supreme Court. Or not this. He took her to court. I think he won some money off of her because she never bought him his truck, but she didn't split it. She didn't split the $10 million.
Why is that any more binding than the agreement that he? So he made the conditions to her or to all of them.
Yeah.
If any one of you wins, you split it, and you have to buy me a car. So he made the conditions verbally for both of those, but one holds up and the other doesn't. That doesn't make any sense.
I'm going to put on my bar exam hat real quick and try to figure this out.
Which was a shitty hat.
I think it's because he had physical possession of the ticket at one point. He bought the ticket, and then he transferred physical possession to Tonda. He didn't hand it to all 10 waitresses. He handed it to Tonda.
Right.
And that's where he has a claim to, like, he was promised X in exchange for Y.
Okay.
But how do you prove that though? Because she could easily say, no, he tips waitresses with lottery tickets, and we just accept that. And it hit. Now he's saying there's conditions attached. She could easily make that claim.
Probably because the other 9 waitresses were all willing to testify and had already testified that the arrangement was we all split it and he gets a truck.
Yeah, she's a piece of shit.
She is a piece of shit for sure.
She's a big piece of shit. Like, you just came up off on 10 million. Like, let's go. Let's eat, man. Let's do this shit together. Buy the man's. I would do this though. We're all buying the man's a car. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not gonna use the portion of mine because now I got less. It was my ticket. We should all pitch in $15,000, get the man a car.
Yeah. There was another guy that won $600,000, and he had like a bunch of gold teeth, and he had always had a dream to have a gold dick. So he bought gold lead-based paint, and he painted his dick gold. He spent a lot of money on this paint, and then the gold wasn't looking right on his dick, so he went out and he bought a different type of paint that had more gold in it, more actual gold, and he painted over the lead paint that was already on his dick with a new gold paint, and then he started to get sick, and he died of lead poisoning because he painted his dick gold. That's funny.
I'm not gonna say good, but like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Of all your wildest dreams, when you strike it rich,
every woman has desired to have a man with a gold penis, Big T.
I get, apparently
he was Mr. Perfect.
It's what the rich are doing these days.
That guy's
$600,000 to give yourself lead poisoning.
$600,000 to dip your dick in lead paint. Bill, you're muted. It's probably for the best. That was a joke.
It's okay. I get a lot of negative energy because I can handle it from people.
I love you, Billy. What were you about to say?
Did you guys ever see Goldfinger? Like, this guy had to have seen Goldfinger.
Is that the Austin Powers jump?
Like, where the woman's painted gold and dies?
Yeah. It's gold member, though.
Oh, yeah, whatever. But, like, this guy had to have known that, like, doing that was going to end up with him dying somehow.
You would think so.
I don't think he did. That's
clearly not.
That's the weakest suicide attempt, I think, in the world.
Uh,
For sure.
Another fun fact about the lottery: when they played it back in, I think it's 1566 with the OG Queen Elizabeth, they sold, I think, 400,000 tickets to fund the Navy, and uh, every participant, everyone that bought a ticket, or not, yeah, everyone that hit like one of the minor jackpots got an excuse from one arrest. So it was a literal,
It's the purge.
it was a get out of jail free card, as long as it wasn't murder or something like super violent, like treason, murder, that sort of thing.
So it could be redeemed at any time in the future.
Yes,
It's a good card to have.
it is. It's a great card to have. And also, did you know that the original America was founded on Jamestown? By original America, I mean, or sorry, let me say that again. The original American colonies were funded by a lottery because Jamestown, the expedition to like populate the New World, that was run through a lottery too. That's how they funded the entire operation. So America might not exist without the lottery.
Shout out.
Shout out.
It's kind of sick how America is just filled with gamblers who just gambled with their lives to come to this random place.
Yo, I was thinking about that shit the other day, dog. How fucking wild is it that man was like, hey, y'all trying to jump on a ship? See what's popping over there? Yeah, man, I'm with you. Let's do it, man. Let's go get some bread for it. They hop on a ship. They come over here. There's a whole bunch of people over here. And you'd be like, fuck it. Let's just stay here. That's a wild thing to do just in your 20s or 30s as a man. Like, just the wildest shit in the world, dog. And just like set up shop there. But they don't want us here. But like, kill them.
With a family too? Like
Wild.
imagine being like, I'm going to take my whole family. Whatever's happening here is way worse than what possibly could be in the unknown out there.
This shit's a wild thing, dog. This is a wild thing to do.
Definitely running away from something.
Yeah.
You have to think that most people on that expedition didn't really have a lot going on back home that they want to stick around for.
That's crazy, bro.
Yeah. All right. Anything else about the lottery, guys?
It'd be so sick to win it.
What would you buy?
I'm
if you
definitely
won
buying.
the
I'm definitely
lottery?
buying a lot. I'm definitely buying a lottery ticket today, no doubt.
What would you buy if you won?
I mean, how much do I win?
If you won last week.
If I won 1.7, so then you take the lump
Billion?
sum. Yeah, she said
Oh,
if you won what the guy won last week, so that was 1.7. You take the lump sum that's like 900, then after taxes you have 400. So of that 400, you immediately buy like a $10 million house. You get a couple cars.
Wait, time out. You think he's only taking away 400 from 1.7 billion? You crazy?
If you take the lump sum,
So the lump sum was 900,
I'm assuming. I don't.
Oh.
Let me check on that.
and then
Oh, I was like, yeah, you're getting way more than that.
probably about like 450, 500.
Yeah, I think if you
Yeah, if you take
But
a lump sum,
it's
yeah.
about that something. So get a $10 million house, couple nice cars like what PFT just bought.
Mm-hmm.
I
EV?
mean,
You want an EV? Get
I
your
mean,
EV.
you can gas is nothing when you've got 400 mil.
Some of us care about
Roll
the environment,
coal.
but-
It's just more to me. Well, yes, that end. It's like when you like because when you got a little bread, right? Constantly filling up your gas tank it's just like I gotta go to the gas station again, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's just like it's convenient. I'm just being honest. It's convenient.
I do think a lot of the cooler cars now that I see, I'm like, oh, I like that car, are electric.
I like that.
But like after I don't know, what do you buy when you get $400 million?
That's what we're
Sports
asking
team.
you, my brother.
I'm a
Season
I would
tickets
just sit in my
to-
absolutely. Oh, that's the first
Yeah.
thing I would buy. I would have the Lower West Club, like 7th, 8th row.
All to you. Bring the homies.
Yeah, I'd buy a row. I would buy a row in Neyland, Lower West Club, 7th, 8th row. That's about where you want to be. Right on the 50. Brave season tickets in the Delta Club. And then once I've got that, like I'm pretty set.
private jet.
No, that's a
Mm-mm.
massive expense that you don't.
Yeah,
You don't. It's much better to just fly or to rent private planes or just fly first class everywhere.
Yeah.
Wheels up.
Yeah, renting would be like, like 20, 30 a trip. After
is-
after you can blow this 400 if you do that shit a lot.
I have no desire to do that.
We're going to a lot of games.
Just fly first class.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but
I know-
security, dude, you're gonna start feeling like I got so much money, I shouldn't be with these people type feeling.
I don't take Big T as that.
I know,
don't
but
care.
this is Big T before the lotto.
You gonna change
Yeah,
your bonus Big T?
I think
Nah.
if you had 500 million in the bank, you would eventually be like, you know what, flying private is so nice. You just go to the airport, walk onto a plane. You can schedule it for any time you want. You can fly into smaller airports, direct flight anywhere.
It's great, I'm
Knoxville,
sure.
Knoxville's a small airport too.
It's a great airport. Yeah, I like it.
Nice little waterfall feature in the Knoxville airport as you're walking
That is
in and out.
actually
Great.
fire, dog. Like I was
It's-
looking at
it's
that
cool.
when I was leaving. I was like, this motherfucker is actually nice.
Arian, did you notice that when you're going through security on your way out, they have, the little rope set up that you walk through.
Mm-hmm.
And then once every like 6 or 7 feet, they have a picture of a gun that has been confiscated at that airport.
I have seen that, yeah.
And the name of the officer that found it.
Uh-huh.
And they're all from the last 6 months. They find a fuckload of guns in the
I
Knoxville
think
airport.
about that every time I go there because it's the only place I've really seen that.
Yeah,
I've never
they're-
seen that. Yeah.
And it's not like I've seen it before where it's like, okay, this was found like August 7th, 2020.
And
or
it says,
something like that.
Officer Rodriguez stopped this gun from entering his flight. It's like, God damn.
Tallahassee had that.
I think a lot of them shits though. I honestly don't think people be trying to bring guns on planes. I think a lot of people just like have them in luggage for like, you know what I'm saying? They forget shit. They're like, oh fuck, I can't believe I left that gun in there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I wonder if they're taking people's like unloaded guns that they have properly stored in their checked bags. And because once they see that through the scanner, they're going to check it and make sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
And then they take a picture of it and say, we confiscated this, when they really don't.
They
I don't know if
Scare
they're allowed
tactics.
to say that.
because
but-
it's like it's
Yeah.
all most of them were in the last 3 months. Most of them were from the summer that they had there. So there's got to be a shitload of people flying out of Knoxville with guns.
Is it
Wild.
what type of guns were they all
Handguns.
self defense?
All handguns.
Yeah.
Those are also the ones you'll forget in luggage.
I think that's what it was more than anything.
Yeah.
else.
Because
Well, yeah,
remember
it's not
the,
gonna be- you're not going to go with like an AR-15 and walk through the security detector and be like,
Yeah.
"Ah, shit, I forgot to take my gun off."
This is not an open
Damn,
carry
not
state.
again.
that's what
Silly
happened to
man.
the Patriots cornerback, right, or safety, who was in Logan with two loaded but not in the chamber guns.
That sounds familiar to me. Who was that?
Yeah, I'm forgetting the exact. He's not. Belichick has a rotating cast nowadays.
'Cause
Jack
as-
Jones.
Yeah.
As many guns as they had, you didn't really hear about like the threat. I feel like there would be more stories about like how many threats there would be if a dude really tried to get. You know what I'm saying? I bet
Yeah.
you most of them was like, "Yo, my fault, dog. Like, I totally forgot. Like, my bad."
Yeah.
I got to take it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what happened with Jack Jones. He just played the I forgot card, which I think they got the charges dismissed. He probably had a pretty good lawyer.
I mean,
Um,
think about how many times you accidentally bring like a knife like in your carry-on or like too much liquid.
Oh yeah, those are exactly the same things to forget.
Oh, like a pocket knife.
Same things. I get you. Same thing as an Aquafina bottle. Same shit.
Well, like you just forget. It's like the same thing. Like you're not supposed to have that in there.
No, I get
Like-
it, but I mean,
Tell you what, when I went
there's
to-
a difference.
when I went to Qatar with Donnie, I bought a new suitcase just in case there was like maybe I had like a little bit of some sort of drug, a plant residue that had like fallen into a part of the suitcase that I didn't see, and I didn't want to fuck around with Qatari drug laws at the time. So I was very paranoid about that. I can't imagine forgetting that you have a gun in a suitcase though.
Well, if you have a lot of guns,
Yeah, that's fair.
like say you travel in state, you know, you packing shit and your guns are a part of your life like that. And you're saying, I've forgotten stuff, but it's never been. I don't really like weapons like that, so I would never do that. But I could get how people could. It makes sense.
Yeah. All right, you guys want to do some voicemails?
You're
This is James from Houston. Just calling in on a nice Saturday morning. One thing that's been kicking around my mind is I've been reading a lot about the Oregon Trail. And I'm just curious, if the whole crew got together and had to do the Oregon Trail, do y'all think you would make it? And hey, it is free online to play the original Oregon Trail. Just Google it. And I'm just going to throw out a guess here. Billy's not going to make it. Love you guys. Stay handsome, stay beautiful, and please plan a trip to Houston sometime soon for a live show. Can't wait to see you in person. God bless.
Okay, so I'm gonna disagree with this guy. Thank you for calling in on a Saturday. I have made a similar trip with Billy in the past to the Oregon Trail, where we drove from the East Coast to the West Coast. Billy is, I'm gonna say high key. Billy is high key a great road trip partner. Never a dull moment, except for the day where you got drunk and then fell asleep the entire time, and then kind of acted weird for about 12 hours. Besides that day, Billy was an excellent road trip partner. So I think Billy
what
would
is
be
weird
good.
though? What did he do that was weird?
Dude, what? What? Wait, yeah, after Texas Roadhouse?
Yeah.
After we got almost carjacked the night before?
No, we didn't almost get carjacked the night before. You're talking about Memphis?
Yeah, then the next day we rolled into Amarillo.
Yeah, and then the next day after that, that's when we left Amarillo.
Okay.
But
yeah, no, we got through though.
Yeah, Billy's a good problem solver on the road.
Yeah, it was a fun time. I couldn't exactly hear the question.
So the question was, if we did the Oregon Trail, who would make it and who wouldn't?
I mean, it gets serious out there. Oregon Trail, like OG Oregon Trail, like where we have to deal with snakes, like all the serious stuff.
Mad Dog would drown herself.
I do anything to get out of that as soon as possible.
You would drown forging the river.
I would. Do we have guns?
Yeah, we got guns.
I'm done.
Yeah.
No,
I don't think that's for me.
Have you guys seen 1921?
No.
It's one of the Yellowstone spinoffs, and basically like they show how crazy the trail is, and like the first day a bunch of German immigrants just like try to drink water from the stream and they all get dysentery. And show the graphic, like the amount of shitting that went on in history that we just don't hear about, like in the woods, violent, like terrible digestive problems is insane. That's probably the biggest thing people forget about, the modern world, is that how better our bowels are for not being exposed to how all the crazy shit on the trail.
Yeah, the shitting's been a real issue throughout human history. I'd say until the last 100 years, if you woke up in the morning and you took a nice solid shit, that was a gift from God. It was like, oh my, this is incredible. Like, that was so easy. It was clean. I don't need to hose myself down. What a great day this is going to be, because I didn't have diarrhea. Everybody had diarrhea all the time. I think I would last for one day. I think I would have fun for a day, and then I would get probably not great night's sleep, but we'd have good campfire stories, cook a nice stew in a tin can over an open fire. That would be fun. And then day two, I would be sore and tired, and I'd lay down to bed, and it would be an uncomfortable sleeping mattress that I was on, like a weird cot that was set up if I'm lucky, probably more realistically like a couple blankets on the dirt ground. I'd be like, fuck this. This sucks.
No, we'd have to stay in the wagon. We'd all be sleeping in the wagon. So it would be a little better. See, that's what you got to think about, because if you're sleeping on the ground, you're going to run into a snake, rattlesnake, something's going to end up in your sleeping bag. You definitely want to be elevated. I mean, it would definitely be a challenge, but people always underestimate themselves for how long they can survive. So I think, we'd have a much better chance than we even think now.
This is crazy, and it's not related to what y'all talking about, but it just got me thinking, because when if you're out in nature and stuff, and you got to go to the bathroom, all that time, what was they wiping at? You know what I'm saying? What was you wiping with? And everything. When was toilet paper invented? So paper originated in China in the 2nd century BC. The first recorded use of paper for cleansing is from 6th century in medieval China, discovered in the text of scholar Yin Chi Tui. I'm sure I'm fucking that up. In 589 AD, he wrote, paper on which there are quotations or commentaries from the 5 classics or the names of sages I dare not use for toilet purposes. That's
like
wild,
that.
though.
It is. Wait, yeah. So before that, just leaves.
I'm guessing, man.
I think there's a lot of aqua dumps.
Water. Yeah. Go
There
for a
was a bunch
swim
of those.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be the best way to clean. Or you know what? People may have just like straight up not.
I don't think. I doubt that.
I think
man.
so.
It's just the smell is so repugnant, and we've evolved not to.
But everyone
For a
stank
reason.
so much more.
But that was the normal. That was the norm. You know what I'm saying? Like that was like collectively. Like I don't think ever shit was a part of the essence of the senses.
Well, I think that's why it's positioned so far from our nose, so that we wouldn't have to smell it all the time.
Good point, Billy.
I don't think the stink would be the worst part.
You're talking about the itch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you'd get like, what's that? Like the monkey ass where it's like the pink butthole.
Oh yeah, baboon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be so painful.
But maybe people had they were tougher,
calloused ass.
hard asses. They were hard asses back then. Like we've maybe become soft in more ways than one due to Charmin.
Yeah.
Oh my god. What about you? BT?
What, toilet paper?
No,
Like, what?
could you make it in the Oregon Trail?
I mean, I would prefer not to have to, but I am built different. Like I would
Okay.
Like I'm not thrilled at the proposition of having to do that, but if it once confronted with that situation, I'm different.
Once reality sets in, you're like, okay, let's do this.
Let's do this.
You got the mindset. You got the survival mindset, Big T. All right, we have another voicemail.
Hey, this is Matt from Minnesota. I've got questions for Arian and Billy. Arian, what's your favorite run concept? Mine's split zone. The main reason being it looks really cool when the tight end goes across formation and blocks the D end. And Billy, what's your favorite way to attack cover two? Mine's got to be the smash concept for no particular reason other than it's an easy read for the quarterback, and I've got a sense of humor of a child. Sorry I didn't ask everyone a question. I just really like football. Stay handsome, stay beautiful, and go Vikes.
I feel like everyone could answer that.
It was really muffled. I didn't hear what he asked.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it exactly, but I think I heard something about a smash concept.
Yeah, he said, what's your favorite run concept, Arian? It was a two-part question. One for Arian, your favorite run concept. His is what, zone duo?
Split.
Split zone?
Yeah.
Split zone. And then Billy, his was for you. What's your favorite pass concept? His is smash. So Arian.
I think he said specifically
Absolutely.
to beat cover two.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. He plays Madden. I guess my favorite run concept would be, I think it'd be weak side outside zone, weak outside zone. So it's
What
when you
is
set
that?
the strength to one side. So if you set the strength to one side, right? So say we got the tight end right, I right, whatever. You set the strength to one side. You run zone opposite side of the strength, outside stretch zone. You have to have the numbers, of course. But if they're, more often than not, you'll have the numbers because they have to align to your formation. But yeah, that's probably my favorite. Less people to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
He said to beat cover two.
Yep.
I
Well,
think.
this one's a little basic. I love double post concepts because it was an easy read, and you just got to air it out. So you either, the safety, if he was well disciplined, went to the deeper post, and you could hit the underside post, or he'd bite on the underside post, and you could put it over his head. And it was always a big gain, and it was fun to throw because it was like an easy long toss throw if you could get it on the numbers.
Mm-hmm. All right, good
But
answer.
smash concept was also kind of cool because you could also roll out into that if you got in trouble.
What's that? A smash is just a stop in a corner. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn, it's
I
been a
like
minute.
four verts.
Four verts is sick because if you have good repertoire with your receivers, you can run it in any coverage.
Yeah, just go deep.
You could just
You
be
have good
like,
what?
what?
If you have good what with your receivers?
Repertoire?
It's close.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
Whatever.
Gotta
I mean,
pick
you
your
could just like hit up your tight ends and just be like, yo, bend it. And then if it's cover 2, then you just hit him on a bender in the middle of the field. If you don't have a Tampa 2 where they're dropping.
I like mesh, where just everybody runs across the line at each other, so cornerbacks just run into each other and knock each other
Yeah.
out. That's great.
That's not for zone really though.
That's a man beater. But
Yeah.
you can call a mesh. Like we used to do a thing where you'd run mesh, and if the wide receivers realized that it was a zone, they just stop in the gaps in the zone, sit in it, and then you just had an easy throw.
That's what Travis Kelce does all the time, right?
Yeah, he's great at finding the gaps in the zone.
But he's soft though, huh, Billy? Ain't like Gronk, huh?
He has the most yak of any tight end of all time, Travis Kelce.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he's sick. He's sick in the pass game. I'm not but
There you go, man.
he's amazing in the pass game. I'm not going to complain. But there's a reason why there's other tight ends on the team that are in there for run blocking.
Yeah.
Next voicemail.
Yeah, one more.
What's up, Macrodosing? This is Carter from Seattle, out in Phoenix for college. But I was wondering, what is your closest near-death experience for everyone? And tell the story about it if you can. And also, my barber from up in Seattle is from Albuquerque, and he said his brother went to middle school with Arian, and that Arian used to bring a toaster to school all the time, like a pet. I guess that's why he doesn't like dogs, but maybe. Not sure. Could you elaborate on that, Arian, or see if it's cap? Thanks, guys.
All right, we got to go with that one first.
Yeah.
I believe you've answered the other one.
I think so.
You did about the toaster joint?
Yeah, I want to know, did you bring a toaster to school?
All right, so I didn't bring it all the time. So there was a teacher that we had a block class, so it was right before lunch. And I would be hungry right before lunch every day. And so every day we had this like little snack cafeteria. I was like, yo, can I go grab some to eat? He would never let me do it. He didn't allow people to eat in his class. And I was like, you know what? You're just an asshole. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're just a dick. So I just decided to, one day I brought toast and I was hungry. And I popped in the bread. I brought jelly and butter. And he's in the class teaching, and you can start to smell it after a while. He looked, is that a toaster? I was like, yeah. He's like, what are you doing? I said, making toast. I said, you won't let me eat. He said, go to the principal, go straight to. Oh my God, I cannot believe. He just went off. I'm laughing. They called my mom. My mom got on the phone. She said, son, why did you bring a toast? I was like, he just wouldn't let me eat nothing. I was like, that's all we had to bring. So it was toast. So I brought the toaster. It was a big deal. They made me go home from school that day. My mom had to come get me.
That's awesome. The teacher probably thought he was having a stroke for a second.
Yeah, he was like, what the is that fucking toast? It was an epic story in my family. Yeah, I forgot about that shit. Yeah.
And so did you get punished by your mom?
Nah, she was like, bro, what are you doing? Like, why? Why would you say, son, you got to be smarter. You could be smarter than that. I was like, it was an asshole move. I was trying to piss him off, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
So it only happened one time?
Yeah, it was like a famous story because, like, the school, like, I was thinking about it. Those in school, like,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was funny.
I love it.
Toaster.
Yeah, I think they gave it back too. Yeah, I think they gave it to my mom.
Yeah, they can't hold on to it.
I think they kept my loaf of bread though. Yeah, I think they did. They kept my loaf of bread and the jelly.
It's fucked up.
That's like the video of the college kid who the professor said like no computers in their class and he brought a typewriter. It was just loud as fuck and he's doing the whole, and she like stops the class and just kind of stares at him like, are you serious? And he just keeps going away on his typewriter.
That'd be funny if he typed in, am I serious?
www.google.com on the typewriter. Arian, when you brought the toaster in, did you, like when you're at home, did you put in your backpack? Did you go to school like with a toaster inside of your backpack?
My brother was driving. He gave me a ride at that time, so my mom's saying no. I think I just brought it like in a regular bag, and I put it in my locker until that class. And right before that class, I went to go grab it.
That was gonna be my next question. Like, did you take it to every class and not use it until you got to his class?
Nah, I couldn't wait to. And I thought I had it because I put my backpack like in front. I used to sit on the wall. So like say this is the joint, this is the wall. I sit on the wall. We was facing this way. And I put my backpack here and I had an outlet right here. I planned the whole shit out, but I think the smell just became too delicious.
I love that. Brave little toaster. Yeah, the near-death experience one. I think we have answered that one, right?
Yeah, I think we
believe
did.
so, yeah.
Yeah. Do we remember what it is? Go quick.
No.
I almost got hit by a car one time.
Oh yeah. I got into a car accident one time, and I had a gun pulled on me one time.
I got flung off a golf cart.
Did you get hurt?
Yeah, my whole face was like torn up.
What about when that horse shit all over you?
That too.
What about when the other animal shit all over you?
Yeah, that too. Well, and also, I don't know if we've done it since then, but like also when I got chased by that guy.
Oh yeah.
That's like a year ago today.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually probably what it is.
We've all had COVID, right?
No, I've never had it.
You never had it?
Not to my knowledge. I mean, I may have been asymptomatic. Odds are that's the case, but I don't have any long COVID effects, and I've never tested positive.
Realistically,
it's like a 1% chance.
I had it 3 times.
3 times? Yeah.
You've had it
My brother's had it. My brother had it 4, dog. I was like, nigga, are you fucking attracting this shit? You had a fuck 4 times?
I had 3 times. It's hard to avoid if you're in a big city like New York and you're walking around places.
Yeah, I also don't do shit. Like this is like I be staying in my house. I live in the suburbs. I don't be doing anything really.
I for sure had it, but I didn't let the commies put it on record. I just stayed home for a few days.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, my closest near-death experience was all the times I killed bats that were flying around in the barn and might have or woken up with a bat flying in my room and might have been like bitten and like contracted rabies because there's no cure.
Rabies is fucked.
It's so fucked up. Turns
There's
out
no cure for rabies.
Well, you can get a bunch of you can get a bunch of shots right after it happens.
Yeah, but I didn't.
But if you wait,
it was over a year ago. But like I didn't think about it and I forgot about it, and it was like, oh, it happens in 6 months after a potential contact, so I didn't care. And then I saw this Reddit post where it said that after 6 years of being in contact with rabies, you can die of it, and it just ruined my whole life.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Because I'm fine.
I didn't know there was no cure for rabies, man.
Yeah, it's 100% fatal. Except I think there's one person that survived on record.
So hold on, how do you get it?
You get bitten by something with rabies.
So I don't fuck with animals, bro.
Yeah, you get bitten by like a possum or a raccoon.
Bats are the ones that get you.
Yeah,
because they have such small bites.
And if you ever
do dogs be having rabies?
They can.
Yeah, but you can tell. You can tell when a dog has rabies because they're rabid.
Not enough to justify your hatred.
I disagree. It adds a little bit more to the pile as to why I don't like them. Would you agree?
Sure, it can be one more reason, but I mean, it's a 1 out of 10 million dogs.
I'll take it.
I think cats can have it too, can't they?
Yeah.
Sure, if dogs can, I'm sure.
I don't understand. How do they have a rabies vaccine for animals but not for humans?
It might be they might have a vaccine for humans, but the vaccine might be worse, than the incidence of you possibly contracting it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So if you get it,
because there's no cure, right?
There's a treatment for it. You can get a bunch of shots in your stomach, within a few days or maybe a couple weeks after you think that you might have contracted it.
Is this common? I feel like I've heard about rabies a lot, but I've never seen anybody actually get it.
It's not very common, but when it does happen, it's very bad, very very bad. You go insane. You kind of turn into a zombie.
It happens a lot in India because all the viral videos of people contracting. Yeah, people contracting rabies are always from India. I see.
Syphilis does that too.
Yeah. I think the only way to tell if an animal has rabies is you have to kill it and dissect its brain.
I thought it was the foaming of the mouth. This is all folklore, by the way. I have no idea
Yeah.
about
That's one of the symptoms. And you develop an irrational fear of water.
I mean, is it irrational?
Yeah, that's a good point. Maybe you just start thinking clearly for the first time in your life. But yeah, never touch a grounded bat. If you see a bat that's on the ground, stay away because it probably has rabies.
Just never touch a bat.
Yeah. You remember when Manu did that?
Yeah.
There was a bat flying around at a Spurs game, and he like punched it out of the air. And then he had to leave and go get like I think he got the rabies panel. That was a crazy moment in sports.
Should I just go get the rabies panel?
I don't think you can.
Did you
anymore.
recently punch a bat?
It was
or
like
something?
2 or 3 years ago now.
No,
Yeah, you've been
you're gonna
dead,
die
right?
if you got it. So
Okay, well if that happens,
too
can
late.
one of you just like come like just get it over with, so I don't have to like they have to keep me on the hospital bed and shit, and
You
just
want
like
us
watch
to kill
me.
you?
Or
I'll kill you. I'll do it.
How you want him to do it? How do you want to go out?
dude, just like I don't know the way they do it in Canada.
I
The
think-
pods?
But that's only if I'm literally like, oh shit, the rabies is setting in.
Put a bunch of creatine and ivermectin in there and let you go crazy.
Yeah, just load me up with morphine if that happens. Just
Oh
all the
my
morphine.
God, that is how I want to go. If I
Yeah.
gotta go, that's the most amazing way to go out.
Well, that's like there is a rabies thing when it starts hitting, like the way that one person survived, it included a shit ton of morphine, a shit ton of antibiotics because it's a bacteria, but it lives in your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
All right. Well, that's macrodosing for today, boys and girls. We'll be back next week. Tuesday nanodosing, Thursday macrodosing, and we're working on getting an Amish person on the podcast. So that was supposed to be today's episode. It's hard to get in touch with them. What are they hiding? No, we would love to interview an Amish person. We have some lines that we've cast out there, so we're just trying to find some time for it. So we'll try to make that happen, and we will see you guys next week. Love you guys.
I'm gonna put up 20 shots in the men's league tonight in honor of the Amish. So
and also the rabies panel.
yeah, so next week when everyone's like Billy shot too much, oh my god, it was because I might die and have rabies, and it was for the Amish.
There we go. All right, we'll see you guys next week. Love you guys.